Yeah, she's pretty cool. Good afternoon, good evening, and good day, and somehow still good morning to those of you on the West Coast. We had our tribulations this morning. We had a security scare at Google, my Google, not all of Google, and the computer was low performing, and then it was not, and then when it was not, I couldn't hit the go button, so we had to restart it. Oh, what an adventure! So let's do this. Let's get the
You're live on YouTube.
live on YouTube. We live on X too. All right, we see the chat is working.
Live on both.
All right,
Easy peasy.
perfect. We got Highlander on the co-host seat over on the live spaces on X, and the stream is looking good on this side. So what I'm gonna do is get this code for the and friends, and
Should I put the title in Cybertruck News or something like that?
I mean, yeah, we've got Cybertruck news.
I'll throw it in there. Don't worry about it.
But that's not all we're gonna talk about today. We got some other stuff as well. So let's
Cybertruck plus more.
yeah, there you go. That works.
All right.
All right, so I got the code. Gonna go over to email and messenger, and then we should be good to go. See, that's the thing that whenever I was complaining about the green bubbles and blue bubbles, it's like, well, I mean, in Europe they already do this. They just go to all the different apps where everybody is. But here, we just want the text message app. All right, let's paste that in. That's usually where we find Marcus if he's not at the racetrack. And then we'll do email for the rest of them. I got a mail notification. Isn't Amazon the only one that delivers on Sunday usually? Huh. Oh, this is for tomorrow. Okay. Let's go to new mail. We'll BCC it so I don't expose anybody's email addresses. So anybody who doesn't want their email addresses out there. And we'll put in everybody's name. You're all bent over. Nobody told you to wiggle. Here you go.
Yeah. So how is your latest co-host and producer doing?
Oh, the young one. Okay, I thought you were talking about she's young too. They're talking about Slimy there. Slimy got her car and she's had it for a week, and that was exciting to hear about for those of you who were able to tune into the earlier space, or if you go back on the recording.
I'm talking about the baby.
Yeah. So I said she's younger too. The youngest baby right now, she's very hungry all the time, and let's see, got one more person here.
Yeah, I raised the girl. So what I'm curious about is how is the big sister handling the little one?
It is mixed.
The trip.
Yes, it is mixed. Oh, her birthday's coming up real soon. Let's see. Paste and send. All right, now I'm dialed in. So it's been she wants to help, and then if it feels like that she doesn't get enough attention, then she freaks out a little bit, and and then the little one, she's usually content, but she's kind of gassy, and that causes fun times for everybody.
Remember the days, and there's a reason why you put the towel over your shoulder.
Yes.
When you're holding an infant or a toddler. There really is, folks.
Yes, never skip that step. Even if you don't put a bib on them, put the towel over you before you go to burp them.
Absolutely.
Unless you're already going to change. All right, so
until you're a grandfather,
yeah,
or a granduncle, in my case, that then you're a little nostalgia for the days. But when you're going through it, it's like it's a different experience.
It is something. All right, so we're going to do a new window, and we're going to drag it back in with the rest of them so I can see that. And I'm gonna try not to get distracted by the fresh tab page. Then we're gonna do. I need the notebook. Where did you put my notebook, computer? Probably on the wrong screen. Uh,
Is that a little Chrome notebook like I was gifted by my sisters?
yeah. How about it? Oh, the notebook for me is a Microsoft OneNote. I've been with them since it came out, and they had a song, "My One and Only OneNote." That was fun. Oh,
It'd be about 4 years now, but the first thing I noticed is I said this thing's it's like a big cell phone except less memory.
yes.
I mean, it really is. It's just like all it can do is communicate and store something, but
Yeah.
when it comes to using programs you want and so forth, forget it.
Yeah. They started out with the idea that they'd have some premium ones, and they gave up on that several times. They need a mid-grade one. That's all they need is a mid-grade. The low makes sense. Make one that's cheap and affordable, but too many of their partners are like, oh yeah, we want a $50 computer. You're like, okay, but your phones cost more than $50. Give it a little more oomph than a phone, not just a big screen as the only appeal and a keyboard, and you'll do great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You hit my point exactly with a lot less words.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll figure that out and get it going soon. All right. So the next thing I want to do is in this software, I want to reverse my camera. So I'm looking at and pointing at the screen. Uh, I'm pointing at the right thing. I'm going to reverse my camera here. No, not turn off my video. Uh, Mirror my video. There we go. Then
If you change the title, let's chat with Kacey and Friends, April 13th. Cybertruck plus more.
I like
and
it.
then I ran out of words.
Yeah, they always get me with the titles. I guess if I had a shorter title, but I mean that's really what it is. We're chatting with friends, right? We're not anything, thinking that we're anything more than we are. I mean, we could be. That'd be fun, but not pretentious. I guess is the way I'm kind of trying to say it. We're gonna do.
The space it's smaller. Sometimes it gets quite a bit bigger, but
Yeah,
if I want to say something that I don't see as a positive in a Cybertruck, and boy, did I get bounced around the last month for that.
oh yeah,
But they were honest observations,
exactly,
Seriously.
exactly. All right, so I see a whole bunch of windows, but I don't see the one that I want. Um, how can I do this cleanly? Oh, here it is. This is breaking news. So this isn't breaking anymore because you guys know how I do it. As I see them, I have them in an order, and this was this. Not that I'm intentionally trying to bury the lead, as some people say, but what it is that it depends on if I have the time to come by and massage everything. Hey, Anders, good to see you. Good evening. Sorry for the delay. We had all kinds of issues. My eldest daughter had trouble opening the package for these little headphones, and then I didn't like them after all of that. So I'm gonna take them back to the store. And then Google thought I was hacking myself. So that was really fun. Had to teach them that I was still me. And then from there, once we got that calmed down, the computer didn't want to participate. So we got it calmed down. And then the camera app didn't want to work correctly. So I had to restart the whole computer and it was something else. And then Andrew says Sweden celebrates 38 months of membership. That is right. Look at you. Boom, baby. uh, for those of you who don't know, we have a membership on our YouTube platform where we have a couple different levels where you can help support the channel financially as far as we use it to take care of all the different fees and such that come up here. And eventually, if there's enough of you doing it, we'll do some reinvestment into the channel to help make stuff even more uh, high production value and easier to access, that sort of thing. Like we were able to turn on the Bluetooth connection between my microphone up here and the phone, so that's how we get the X spaces out on the side, and that is fun because it's like, was it a long time listener, first time caller, and and it's fun for me, and
No, I love that catchphrase. I thought it was perfect.
yeah, exactly. All right, so on the screen now, what we're seeing is we've got Joe Tegmeyer on the bottom. He's the guy who is part of the Quad Squad, and his region is the Texas Gigafactory. And what he caught this past week was really quite nice. We saw this earlier in Fremont, but what we're seeing here is an empty Model Y driving itself from not just in this clip, but this particular Model Y and all the others in his full video. They came out of the building from off the end of the line, like they, the assembly line ends, and they land on the ground, and they just roll out for a little bit, and then they drive themselves to the waiting area to get put on a truck. This is was different about this one versus Fremont. Fremont, it looks uh, like they're being supercharged, and then they drive themselves to the loading lot. But these ones, it looks like they go straight from the end of the factory. Like there's a bay door. They come out and they drive away after like they blink for a minute while they, I guess they're adjusting their eyes to the light or something, and then they drive off. The other difference here is they don't go to the end of the truck lanes. They go to the end of unless that is the way they do the truck lanes in Giga, Texas. Uh, they go into
I saw
one.
that. It was impressive.
Yeah, it was. They go to one end of one of four
But it
lanes.
reinforces my concerns
Yeah.
that they're not selling, and now they're going, yeah, we need to lower the price.
Yeah, yeah, they do need to lower the prices some more because every time they find that they lower the price by $5,000, they get a whole new customer base that they had before. And so,
That is the rule of thumb, and it's accurate.
exactly. And so what I think is going to be fun here is we got something coming up on Cybertruck, and then there have been spy shots. I didn't put them in here, but there've been spy shots of a Model Y and Model 3 with the front and rear end covered up, and we'll have some fun speculating on that in a little bit. I think we'll just go ahead and bring that up right at the end of the Cybertruck segment, and then we'll see what we think about those. But so what else is different about Texas is this is a 2 mile trek from the end of the factory to where they get loaded up, which is interesting in that they have to cross under a freeway, and they do a right hand turn, a double right hand turn for like maybe 100 meters or less. Not even 100 meters. I want to say 50 meters, where they make a right-hand turn, and in fact, this clip that we're at, I think, is right where they're getting in to make that turn, and so it gets onto what looks like a public road, but they tell me is not, and then they immediately exit that road, after they cross under a freeway overpass.
Um, Maybe for the others who are going to see this afterwards,
Yeah.
since it is recorded. What about the tunnel? I thought the tunnel took care of all this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about next there. So the Model Ys will then stop just past the tunnel opening, the cyber tunnel that we've talked about a couple times. You see that it looks like a mother bug spitting out full form bugs of Cybertrucks, and so they stop just past the Cybertruck till you get about like 5 or 6 of them in a line, and then like a kindergarten in line situation where they got the not the teacher, but they got like the hall monitor, and then the little 6 kids, and then they all go to where they were going, but they're not even all going to the same slot. Some of them are going to slot 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll branch out in their slots from there once they've got 6 of them in a line past the cyber tunnel. Joe said the Cybertrucks are doing the same thing. What I'm not clear on is were they self-driving out of the tunnel into the waiting area? Like 6 of them would line up, and then they would go into line one. In his video, they were all in line one for the Cybertruck. Uh,
I'm sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but I'm more interested in, because I watched it also.
yeah,
I'll give a plug. Joe Tagmeyer did sign my T-shirt.
nice.
I could post
He
it
does good
someday.
work.
In any case, my thinking is the slots are where they're destined to go to for distribution purposes.
Yeah, like what
I mean,
region?
it's
Yeah,
just a thought to throw out there.
yeah. I think that's what it is. Is like what region they're going to? Because in Fremont, they they don't have it like that. They all have like a each truck has a lane, like a parking lot. Like this one's going on truck 7. This one's going on truck 3,000, and they'll just go and line up on what truck they're supposed to get on. Uh, so you've got like what looks like 30 slots. They're much shallower slots than what we saw in Texas. Does Texas have less? And sorting the Fremont, I don't think that's what we're seeing there because at the end of that lot, the Cybertrucks and the Model Ys will pause at those four lanes, and then a human will get in and take them to the area where they get into the trucks, and not the truck driver. Whereas at Fremont, in each of their lanes per truck they're supposed to get in, and the truck driver pulls them from the lane into his truck and then leaves. And then I guess once he marks the system that he's got them, then that opens up for the next batch to use that slot for a different truck. It's quite interesting to see, and I think this is the kind of cost cutting and high tech innovation that you want to see as a customer and as a shareholder and just somebody who likes efficiency. You're not wasting humans' time being a lot porter. That person is then able to either marshal around 30 cars at once instead of one at a time, one per like 15, 30 minutes, and then take breaks and bathroom breaks and everything. Or you've been doing stuff inside the factory. Because who wants to be sitting out there in the middle of Texas in the middle of summer, uh, driving hot cars around, right? And then also for those of us that are a little more like to know that they were the first one to get in the car or whatever. It's still not going to be the case that you're the only one to ever sit in your car, but that's one less person sitting in your car before you get in. And
Well, this is sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but
no, go ahead.
what I found interesting, and gave a comment to Brian White, is everywhere I go, and it's free. And my Sundays after I go to mass, I go to my place of worship.
Yeah,
My Sundays are free, so I go, or Saturdays,
yeah.
and I just sign up for test drives. And
There
I'm
you go.
telling Brian, I'm like, sooner or later they're going to catch on to me. But point being, at the Grand Rapids, and Casey, one thing I should say, so you know I'm a trusted co-host and
Yeah.
viewer. Anything I say about Tesla, I almost always have the video because I'm using my little Apple 15.
Yeah,
Video I listen to. So at the Grand Rapids dealership, and it should be mentioned, they have a nice manufacturing facility there. I've never seen so many Teslas in the wild as that. But I'm in the Midwest. It's
yeah,
not Cali where they're everywhere.
right.
But what was cool was they had from it was like a parking lot, but it was like 1 to 30, and the numbers are there. And those are the cars waiting to be picked up.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there. Nobody came up to me, nothing. And they were busy. There were only two of them, and they're busy.
The end customer deliveries or the ones that are moving between stores?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like, you could tell it must have been a Tesla owner because they go, just sign here. Literally, I watched this.
Yeah.
Just sign here. They went out to number 15 and they drove away.
Yeah.
And then there's other customers. You could tell this.
The first one.
Like, well, let us walk you through how to drive the car.
Yeah.
And having done this at the dealerships, it's like, yes, that's worth showing the customer the extra. They're not trying to sell you anything.
No.
The
Yeah.
car's already sold.
Exactly.
They're just saying, let us walk you through the different things.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool.
It
I
is.
really did.
It is. Yeah. And they're not like stuck up about it. Like I remember. Well, shoot, my first one with that was they were doing drives around the country, and they came to a beach near me, and it was my first time driving something that I mean I'd been in fast cars, so I was a car salesman at the time, or not at the time I drove it, but was I? Yeah, actually I was a car salesman the first time I drove one, and I'd been in fast cars, and okay, this is fine. There's a Model S 85,
Oh my goodness.
E85. Is it either P85 or P85 Plus? I want to say it was 85 because
No, I just know I drove it and I got the video to prove it.
maybe. What's up? You got clean hands?
My finger.
Your fingers are clean?
My finger.
There's our new
You're wrong.
You took a bath too long? Oh, your fingers are wrinkly. You had a fun bath then, I assume.
My
You play with your toys? Good. You smell nice.
I read that.
You wear that one? Okay. You're clean.
I love her cute little unicorn headphones.
Yeah. Well, they match what she's wearing now.
Animal is Scotland, by the way.
Yeah?
That's a true fact.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Feed you? I got hands full, baby. I can't feed you right this second. You want me to feed you? Okay, take that plate to her. She'll feed you. In your room. She calls the living room her room.
Give her the baby bottle full of the good stuff and see if she gives it to her baby sister. She runs off with it.
Can I get another one of these? That remote is for the old one. We're gonna sell that one because we got a new one. But can I get a new bottle when you get a second, please? Thank you. The what? Mm. The TV streamer that we use for my wife's TV, it was having trouble keeping up with the TV codecs that we use. We've switched over to AV1 for most of our media on the server. Well, I say most. There's days of encoding and transcoding to go, but all the new stuff is in a new format, and her old TV streamer box was joking. So we switched it out, and the new one plays like a champ. So she was trying to take the remote for the old one off of my desk, and I told her, no, we're gonna pop that one up on eBay so somebody else can use it. So yeah, the first one I drove was a P85, and then at some point I drove a P85 Plus. I don't know if it was the same day. It was. I don't think it was. But what says that, I've been in fast cars before, and they'll push you back in your seat, and yeah, that's fun. This old Tesla, we're talking like, was it?
No comparison.
It's no comparison at all. It's like half or quarter as fast.
From experience,
Quick,
I got
yeah.
video.
Exactly. And so this thing not just pushed me back in my seat, but it pushed my brain back in my head. And I got dizzy during the acceleration. I had to let off the throttle. The person said, "You don't have to brake. We're on now." Yes.
All right. Can I speak for 1 second? Sorry to interrupt. So I'm so excited. I'm pro Tesla. I'm pro everybody. I'm an automation technician, whatever. I'm just pro electric, right? I'm not picking sides, but I definitely like that.
Definitely.
So the first car I get to drive, an electric vehicle, I'm so proud and happy of this. I really am.
Yeah.
A brand new Model S Plaid. I don't know what the number on it was, but and he's given, and this was a special, you had to pay for it. A deserted county road that in Michigan.
Oh, they rented a spot. Nice.
They rented the road. They paid for the county sheriffs that were there. I mean, this thing was. There's one thing they forgot, and it'll never happen again at any Tesla event. The insurance company.
Oh yeah, the insurance company's in there. Yeah.
Right. I'm born and bred fast.
Yeah.
I got to 135 in about 1 point whatever seconds.
Yes.
It shows it because I'm videoing the dash.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
So fast.
It is. It is. That's a 3. Yes. Yeah, you gotta tell everybody in the car, put your head back.
Please video it, but use 2 hands.
Yes, 2 hands. Mm-hmm.
That's the last test drive. Anybody else want to go for another go? Hell yeah.
Again.
Hell yeah, Highlander, come on. Well, he had me drive it. That I was not expecting.
Right. Yeah, that same like they.
And I've been Tesla proud ever since, even though I don't own one yet.
Right. Yeah, it took me. I want to say it took me like 3 years after I first drove one before I got one, or at least it felt that way. It might have only been 2, but like they did that experience. They put your head back because if you don't, then you smack it, and that's not. You could have a concussion just from riding the car. Then like your turn. I'm like, what do you mean my turn to drive this hypercar? Yeah, it's just a car. We got more of them. and that's what it's like. And the Highlander, like you said, you got a 10-20 horsepower 3-motor beast. And what's funny is for all the other electric cars, there's what 3 or 4 more that are not like $1 million cars that are actually faster than that. You've got the latest Porsche and Lucid Air. Yeah, right.
Your point, Casey.
Yeah.
People jumping up. And I got an inside track on this because of a friend in Arizona. He's known as the godfather of the roadsters.
Yeah.
I just hope they show him the due respect because when that roadster comes out, it's going to be expensive
Oh yes.
and it's going to be mind blowing.
I think it's gonna.
Absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah. I think it's gonna.
The money for the pet project.
Exactly, and I think it's gonna give the hypercars, the $1 million cars, $1 million electric cars. I think it's gonna give them a little bit of a surprise they weren't expecting. Especially, it's been, what is this now, 9, 10 years that it's been in development, and it's still not done. He said their pencils down, but
There.
Huh?
I just let's say 300,000 versus 5 million, 3 million. I
Right.
don't know what these huge Formula Ones cost, electric or whatever.
yeah,
They're very expensive. And although you do well and I'm back on track, neither of us could buy one of those.
not at all. Exactly. Yeah, the first,
This new Roadster, man, it's going to be something to set. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be awesome.
the special editions without the SpaceX package are going to be 500,000, and then was it 250, 300 for before in 10 years ago money, for the standard model, and then who knows how much the SpaceX package will add to that. But either way, yes,
I'll say working class. I
Yeah.
include you, me, and in it. You know,
I go to work every day.
a year and 300,000 a year. That's the range in the United
Yeah.
States.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 For those more affluent than the rest of us, if you're going to go for this Formula One, or
Yeah.
you're going to buy the Roadster, it's 1/3 or less the price, and it does 10 times more.
Exactly.
It's game over.
I agree.
It's going to be limited production, which means they could charge more. But I think it's just going to be so much fun factor.
Yeah, I think so. I certainly hope they have enough extras that they'll be able to do, test drives and stuff at the store. I'm not counting on it, but I hope so. So we're not sure on this story. We're not sure if the Cybertrucks are driving through the tunnel or they're driving around the loop. I guess it doesn't really make a difference. But if they're driving through the tunnel, what that does now is it means that they will soon be able to do this in the boring loop underneath Las Vegas, which then is one step closer to the ideal of what the boring loop can do. Aside from, that the boring loop is exceeding all their contracted requirements right now, for all the people who say, why don't you put a bus, why don't you put a train, blah blah blah, because they didn't want a bus or train. And there's this, as Patrick keeps telling us over on our other show, the Tesla Life, it's more like a routed network. It's like point to point. You don't have to go the whole circuit or the whole route uh, to go where you want to go. You don't have to wait for uh, the dude with the stroller and the two kids to load them in to go where you're going. If you just have your suitcase for your presentation, I guess it wouldn't be a suitcase these days, it'd be a backpack with your laptop in it. Either way, if all you've got is one carry-on, or even just your wallet because you're going to attend the show rather than present the show, you just get in. As soon as you're in, it's off. Whoosh, you're good to go.
And some people may disagree with me. I'm sure they will, but
Yeah.
I like the fact that some of the routes are free
Mhm.
and some are paid.
It makes perfect sense because
If
if
you got to recoup your costs,
Yes.
and if you're staying at one of the new motel, let's call them condos that they're building along the way.
right,
If you're going every day through the Hyperloop, bypassing all the traffic, you should have to pay $1 or $2 to get home all that much quicker and easier.
yeah. But the beauty of that is if you live in one of the ones that the Boring Company is building, from what we talked about the other day, they're building some apartments there. It's included in your rent. You just unlimited pass on the whole network. But the ones that are free for everybody, it makes perfect sense as well because they're a convention center. They want you there to spend money or to see the people who are spending money with them. So why not subsidize the rides? And then the rest of them are still cheaper than an Uber, cheaper than a taxi, and you get to bypass all the traffic and the heat and everything. I think it would be smart if some of those hotels on the ends of hmm? Yeah, the heat. I think it'd be smart if some of the hotels on the ends of them would give you like here's for this first night. Here's a stack of 10 loop vouchers or 5 loop vouchers or whatever they think that because I know most of them are going to have a casino on the bottom floor, but
Forget about
yeah, comps. So here's some comp vouchers for whatever's not at the hotel that you want to go see. Because I'm sure if they buy them by the thousand, that they get a good discount on the rides, and then just not having that feeling that you're stuck, even if, especially if they only pay for the ones that actually get cashed in. Uh, Having a stack of them so you don't feel trapped will mean that half the people won't even use the whole stack. I think that's pretty cool. But even then, the rides are less expensive than they would be on the surface, and they're meeting their numbers. So we just instead of poo pooing it because it's not a subway or a bus or a bike lane or whatever, it's not paid for with taxpayer money. Let's let them ride. See what happens when it gets closer to fully built out, and see because right now the Boring Company is exceeding the numbers they were contracted to do.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned subways. I've been on a few. Even though I got to be the poorest person you ever met, I managed to get around.
Mm.
Washington D.C.'s got the neatest little subway
They do.
system. Clean, efficient.
It is.
You buy these little tickets and you get a ticket. At least back in the day when I went there, it's been probably 10 years now.
About
But
20 for me.
clean, efficient,
Mhm.
Although you better know where you're going. I found that out the hard way.
Oh yeah.
But they're tax subsidized. And so I don't see any reason why, cyber tunnel shouldn't be a little tax subsidized either. It's for the greater good of the public. I
As
don't
long
care who owns the company.
right.
I really don't.
As long as the city put it in, then that's fine by me. But if it's like right now, it's going between hotels and convention center. I'd say that they should pay for it themselves. But in other cities, when they finally put in these other ones, I agree. Yeah.
Casinos.
Yeah.
I love casinos. You know why? I don't, and I've been to conferences,
Yeah.
mainly trades conferences doing wood maintenance and engineering.
Yeah.
Atlantic City, LA, Vegas. Uh, you can get so much for free.
You can.
You
Absolutely.
really can.
Absolutely. The only
Just don't
yeah.
circle. Maintain the- Morocco.
Yeah.
I've been to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
$40 and I'm done.
That's smart.
If I win, I put it in my left hand pocket.
There you go.
And usually I don't win, but
House wins.
the left hand pocket was getting big, and I said, I'm leaving.
That's right. That's smart. There you
I
go.
only play like 21 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about something similar where they had a physicist conference and big math guys and physics and and it was in Vegas and they said that they're not getting invited back because they they didn't get their money's worth from them beyond just the however much they paid for the venue, and that was it because they were all really good with the numbers and yeah, some of them might have played a little bit, but exactly. So they didn't get the typical cashback they expected. Uh, so yeah, if the Boring Company is able to use this technology, I think that we're onto something. And then we've got supposedly the Cybercab is going to be ready to go by June, according to the last conference call. There's another one coming up soon. Did they announce the date for this conference call?
I didn't catch the last one, but I'll be honest with you, my taxes just bounced.
Oh no.
Filed them. I've been filing by myself for 3 years now. And then I switched over to the big company, and it's my mistake, but I'm very, very busy doing that. And I hate announcing whenever I get job interviews or whatever, because then I don't get the job. But
Right.
it's a teaching position for PLCs, which are,
Nice.
you may be familiar because you're one of the smarter ones out there. It's programmable logic controllers. They're just these little mini computers that run all the automation in factory. So that's what I've been doing my entire life since I got out of nuclear submarine service.
Yeah.
Hey, look at my thing on Indeed, and I said, I'm very interested because we're seriously. I know it's off topic, but we're seriously running out of skilled tradespeople,
We are.
especially people with experience.
Yes.
60 and I'm experienced in ageism. And then you'll get these companies going, no, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. And
Yeah.
talk to, hey, there's our buddy.
That's right.
Okay, 2:00, 5. So it's in the early evening form. Let's everybody say hi.
Exactly. So I mean, they gotta foster the next set, because if you're gonna run everything on automation and you don't have anybody to set up the automation, you've got a problem. um, so we find out the next briefing from them on the 22nd, probably at 5 o'clock or so Texas time. So we'll keep an eye on that. So we're looking at, what's that, a Monday, Tuesday? It's Tuesday. All right, so on Tuesday evening, we'll find out if the cybercab and all that is still on track. Hey, Robert's here. Let's go ahead and let Robert in. And then let's go ahead over to what's next on this list. We've got this one's an older one. It was just sitting in my area to add to the notebook that I hadn't got to. There's a lot more of those, but we're not going to get into them today because of the technical problems getting started today. I say technical, I should say security problems getting started today. NEMA unveils a standard for bidirectional charging. So what this is the National Electric something, I forget.
Electrical code number 70 and 79.
Yeah.
Yeah.
National Electric Manufacturers Association, established in 1926. Yep. And so you look at your outlets. Your regular US 3-prong is called the NEMA. What do you call it? NEMA 515, right? For 15 amp, and the 5 is the type of plug, and you got your 15 50 for, or 1450,
And then you got
1450.
your 20 amp, which it's offset on the prong, but
It's got the one on the side, yeah. And so they design or at least certify all the plugs and connectors in North America, or at least in the US. And but then Mexico and Canada use them too, so they do get input.
North America, because CSA, and that's what it's called, CSA, they follow lockstep to whatever NEMA puts out. They really do.
Yeah, I
For
think the
good
only
reason, and we follow them.
exactly. I think the only thing they really push back on is like how thick your wires need to be, or how long. Like the reason we got shorter cables on the very affordable Tesla wall connector Gen 2 to Gen 3 was Canada wanted less amps and less distance, and so Tesla complied and shortened the cable up. Um, but they use the same ends, so they didn't change. Yeah, yeah.
That's why I listen.
Exactly. That's why I always give Mark a little bit of a ribbon whenever we have a discussion about cable length, because it was their electrical code that they got ours shortened. So what's cool about this is there's now an official standard for uh, bidirectional electrical capacity. So you don't have to have these weird boxes or workarounds so that it complies with the procedure. So you can get energy back out of the electrical vehicle's battery. And I think what we're seeing with all these electric trucks that came out, because I think there might only be one or two that don't have power offload. And I'm guessing that just like with Wi-Fi, when it's like near enough to ready, they just go ahead and all right, this is Wi-Fi 12, and and everybody's like, it's not really Wi-Fi 12, it's Wi-Fi 12 draft, and then it's like, well, yeah, but are you going to spend $6 million to make the equipment run, and then not be sure that you're not going to recall them all and push them out again? So they're sure the hardware is good, and they just might have to update the software. Like, oh, you need to do step 12 in the spot for step 7, and switch them around. And so I think that's why we saw all these different boxes with all these different pickup trucks. Like Ford and Chevy had their setup, and then Tesla had a different setup that actually still doesn't work with the Powerwall, but it does work if you have Tesla Solar. And if you don't have anything, then they just put the same box in your system. And so
Sorry to interject.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matthew. I know
Matthew.
him, and I just brought him up as speaker.
Good to see you. Robert's got his hand up. What's going on, Robert?
Yeah, I've had a good day today. It was going well, and then I was crossing the carriageway going back home.
Yeah.
The guy hit me from behind.
Oh no.
My brake had fallen, and then when I looked at the video footage on my cell phone,
Yeah.
I realised that saw the jolt in my thing, and I was down. Yeah, and my phone went a good 20 feet. The phone case thing saved the phone.
Yeah.
My face was along the road.
Oh no.
Nurse came to tend to me.
And you're on your bike
And
today.
To my home, the guy.
Yeah.
So he didn't thought, he knew he hit me.
Yeah.
He was pulling onto the road. There was no one to the side of me on the other one. So he's right behind me. He can see me. And when I pulled onto the other one, I'm a push bike. I can't go at drive the speed. He's come and then he's hit me from behind, throwing me forward. And I've reported this to the police now. And he brought me back to my home. He guilt in his face, and you can see him on the video at my house bringing my bike back. And they just plonked my bike up the side and then left. He didn't like seeing that he was on the camera. But yeah, he brought me back to my home, fair and fair. But
yeah,
it was his actions hitting me from behind that knocked me down in the first place.
Exactly.
I'm quite a bit of pain now. I've got a lot of injuries from the other ones. They're all telling me to go to hospital, and as I say, I had some huge bruises, and it was really the blood came up to the surface.
Oh man.
She put some bandage, put some plaster.
Yeah. Yeah, at least get it checked out. I mean, because at least over where you are, going to the hospital won't bankrupt you. So I mean, I would at least get them check you out.
You say that I've got to sit in A&E for 4 hours, and I don't fancy that. But
I understand that part.
My face hit the ground.
Yeah.
My phone went flying.
Yeah.
I've got that on the video,
Yeah.
and I sent the link of the guy when he brought back to us, because you can actually see his face, but you can't. You can see this BMW 1 Series, and as I say, I pulled on off the junction. I'm coming on, all of a sudden, then poof, I'm down.
Yeah.
And because I looked and saw the other car going past me, I saw there was nothing else in my side view. I'm pulling on as you expect, and then all of a sudden I'm down. Because I could see that I couldn't pedal like crazy because there was a traffic lights, and then you turned and I was going to go down the other way. But he hit me. Then this other nurse came. She tended to me. I put the bike to the side of the road. He put it in his car and brought me back here. All nice, but there was something off about him. And then when I looked to the video, I could see
that he was guilty.
He hit me.
Yeah.
And I'm in a lot of pain right now. But Fluffy's sitting on top of me. She told me not to go out today, to be honest.
Yeah.
She was discouraging me going out with the push bike. It's only the second time I go out this year.
Yeah.
Do you know what? The only 2 times I've ever come off a bike is when I've been hit.
Oh man.
I've never had any other accidents in nearly 50 years of riding a bike. I've never had any accidents.
That's
except
good.
for those.
Oh man, that part's not good though. Yeah.
My teeth is hurting a bit now, and there's people could say there's a bruise coming. I could see a bit of cut in the lip.
Yeah.
And, some severe abrasions. I didn't want to.
I would definitely sit out that 4 hours. I know it's a pain, but at least you get that stamp of approval, and then they can get you something a little stronger than you get from the corner store, and at least it'll help you heal up a little more comfortably. And like I said, just to be sure that there's nothing that's awry in there, because
I
better safe than sorry.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Then within a minute, I was less than that. Probably I was down. I knew, as I say, I was down. I was back up again, and I'd just been up to where my mum, the Lost Valley. I told you where my mum died.
Yeah.
Where she went for. I put her ashes, and I did a video and pictures up there today, and I did half of the walk that she would do every day.
Yeah.
And then I come back down the hill, and then. Yeah.
Yeah. In high school, I would bike or scooter from home to the school, and it was across town, so it wasn't short. I want to say about maybe 10, 15 miles, and I was crossing in front of the mall, and I must have been on the scooter, because on the bike I would have been in the bike lane, and so I was on the scooter and I was crossing for the mall, and this lady in a minivan, I saw her. She looked at me. I guess she didn't see me. She looked at me, and as I'm getting through the other end of the crosswalk, all of a sudden I'm on the ground. And then I guess she saw that she hit me because she stopped, and then so I was pulling myself up from under the bumper, and I stand up. She takes off and she sees I'm standing up, and I was like, oh my goodness. Obviously you're driving a minivan. You're a younger woman, so you probably have kids. How would you feel if somebody did that to your kids? Huh?
Yeah.
The food's hot.
And the way with my bike, he was brushing the back of it, and I was like, "You trying to brush paint off or something?" Because I just looked at the video and I sent it to Melissa. I mean, it was just the guilt on his face, and then he went away, and that was it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, don't wake her up. She's just fine sleeping. Please open up this table. We got all this food over here. It's gonna be cold by the time I get to it, that's for sure. So Andrew's saying he's got vehicles to load in his EV6 220 volt, and that is really cool because over here they only get, was it 10 amps, maybe 12 amps, something like that, on the same vehicle here, and it's only 120. So
I sent you that thing before. I hoped you'd seen it with the amps and the volts and all the
yeah,
different connections. I saw over 30 different connections.
oh my goodness,
But you've also got the volt rated as well.
yeah,
And, the plugs that come to it, you've got our standard 3-pin in the UK, which is up to around 3,000 watts.
yeah,
But the problem is, and there's so many amps, but the trouble is they keep drawing more than what they should do through them, and then you get your problems.
yikes.
So you've got those other ones, like the other pin ones you were showing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to charge you using those others, because we did that before with that other extension cable when
Yes.
when I put it all to the radio there, and oh lordy, I mean it was taking more than it should. It was taking well over 3,000 watts, and it kept tripping the meter.
Oh my goodness.
I was looking at all the different connections. I sent you that one, and I sent it to Stormy as well. I tried to get you to see it, but there was nearly 30 different kinds of connections, and the voltages and watts and the as well.
Yeah.
So
I haven't been
you see that
at all in my messages this week. I've got like 6 different threads I need to catch up on this little one and work. It's been a week.
good.
So this one here is from our friends over at Outer Spec with Kyle and Friends, and we're not gonna watch their video obviously, but the gist of this is that the Dodge Charger EV, wake the neighbors loud. What do they call it? I call it the Dodge bunch of names, a bunch of nostalgic names, because it was like the Charger, Sonius. It was every brand name they could think of that they attached to the Charger, they did. And well, it's selling less well than the outgoing body style. And what might happen is it might pick up a little bit now that the gas cars are switching to this body style as well. It's never been a good deal because you guys are aware, every time it comes up and we know the price, I always go over and look at other vehicles in the market, from the Model 3 Performance, which just runs circles around this thing, to all of the electric pickup trucks and SUVs. They all give this thing, well, at least the performance-oriented ones anyway, they all give it a run for its money. I think the only ones that didn't, or that don't now, are the Toyota BZ4X, BZ4X clones, and the Volkswagen ID Buzz and the Volkswagen ID4. And that's just because they're not meant to be performance cars. They are meant to be pedestrian Camry-like vehicles, and they do that very well.
And the Buzz in the UK have got a different interior than the newer, I noticed. It had the camper style. I don't know if that's another option. The fold-out table.
Yeah.
And it had the other stuff there as well. I saw one the other day. I sent you the picture if you got it.
Yeah. Mota just brought me this drink here, and it's got my logo on it. And my brother and my sister-in-law made it for me. couple years ago. All right, so it's got a lid, so I'm going to put it right here versus the one that doesn't have a lid that's not empty yet. I'm going to leave it over there. Where are we at here? Let's push back on this. Highlanders, get your head up. What's up? What's up with that?
Yeah, this is a technical note.
Yeah, tell me.
So when I went into YouTube to make sure everything was okay,
It bumped you out.
Yes, exactly. Out, I had to drop down, close down X. And the good news is maybe you can send her a link. Tesla Boomer Mama,
Yeah.
Alexandria. I'm sure you're very familiar with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's right up there. She is desperately trying to join the space. Maybe you can send her a link or something.
Just the other day when we was in a space.
Yeah. Oh, Rob, we know what some of the Tesla spaces think of the Highlander, but that's another story. So, Kate,
I told her to come to your space on Sunday.
I see you're here.
Link. She's happy to join in and say hi and support the Tesla cause and all EVs.
Yeah. For some reason, X put her above under Papa, even though he starts with a P and she starts with an M. I sent it to her as a DM. Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah.
She responds immediately.
Definitely. So
bag of chips, I'm not. You know me enough.
Right. And so what's funny to me on this one is that, like I said, it's supposed to be a fun sports car, and it's for what they're charging, it just doesn't. So what ended up happening here is they're not canceled, at least not yet. What they've done is they've removed it from the dealer stock program, so it won't appear on the lots unless it's already there from before, or the other reason that you'll see it on the lot is if on this new system somebody orders one and for some reason it doesn't go through, like they get it and there's a scratch, or it was the wrong color from what they actually paid for, or any number of items like that, or after they order the car, it's going to take about 6 weeks to 2 months to 3 months, depending on how the factory runs, right? What you do as a salesperson, if they finance these things, you tell them don't buy anything else, and some of them can't follow that simple instruction, and then they, the bank says, hey, okay, let's do this, and then they do a final check from their pre-check, and they say, oh, no, no, we can't do this. And so now you're stuck with the car, and so that'll be how you find these things on the lot going forward, unless they have like they might still keep a program where there's like a demo unit on the lot just to show off, and then like we talked about at the beginning of the stream, Highlander and I were talking about how a lot of companies they get all touchy about, oh no, you can't drive, this is our nice one, this is our fast one, and Tesla's like, hey, here, it's just another car, go have at it. So just because it's on the lot at your Dodge store doesn't necessarily mean that you will be able to enjoy the test drive, but depending on how that local store handles things, if they do a lot stock, not lot stock, but a lot demo program, they might let you drop it or at least sit in it. You got your hand back up, Highlander. What's up?
Well, and this is my wheelhouse, sort of. I'm looking to buy a used Model 3.
Yeah.
And I know the couple of places, YouTube places, that they're helping me look. And here's what I found significant. And it's not all of them, but there's certain range of the old generation Model 3s and Model Ys had front end suspension issues.
Yeah.
And for a brief period, I don't think it's even up right now, because I get the X email like everybody else, only because filing out to be an employee and so forth.
Mhm.
I get these constant updates, and they wanted $8,000 for me to buy from Tesla
Mhm.
for a front end suspension upgrade.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, all right, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You want to certify as a company to sell me your used car, but you're saying you'll fully certify it if I pay $8,000. Shouldn't that have been a recall?
Yeah. My car, they say it doesn't affect the X, but it definitely does. the upper control arms, they just don't have enough. I'm guessing just the lube isn't set correctly, or there's water is allowed to ingress into the grease fitting, the bushing. It's a sealed grease fitting too, so you can't just do like they used to do with a grease gun and it's done. So what happened was, I've got a premium car. It looks like it does. It makes no noise. It's running around the parking lot. Sounds like an old bed. And I'm like, I can't have this. So I ended up paying not the full amount. I want to say it was like $2,000, something like that. It included the alignment, thankfully, because they were trying not to do an alignment. Um, Swap those out, and then I had them do the treatment on the new ones because uh, uh, they didn't say the new ones wouldn't have the same problem. So they did the treatment they do on, or at least they were doing on the Model 3 at the time before putting it on to make sure that it would last. And so far, so good. I had a little scare a couple months ago. Pulled out of the driveway. It said "ski." I was like, don't start. But yeah, I mean, yeah,
About some of the flaws. That's how we get better. Also,
yeah,
can you throw me back as co-host? Robert's wrist is about to break. The poor guy.
yeah. I thought I sent you one. Let me send it this way. Maybe that'll make a difference.
Say you've been able to get that one from that's made in the UK, and they are doing it in the US. It's a more upgraded, beefier parts to the suspension that hopefully stop those things, because they say they put those on my dad's one.
Yeah.
And they're starting to roll that design towards the new Model X, and obviously, if my dad's car hadn't been burnt down, it would still be on that. But that one there, he did some pretty serious off-roading, and just like that other guy did, what's his name, Bjorn again, or Bjorn?
Yeah, Bjorn. Yeah.
Yeah, he did stuff similar to that, and that suspension held up to that. As I say, they make them in the UK. They've got a place in the US as well. I can't remember the name of them now, but I think your other friend would know. But they're more robust suspension. I think it was about $500 per side, per corner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a heck of a lot less than what you paid, and they guarantee that for the life of the thing. Once it breaks, they will give you another one.
Wow.
I'll try to find the other thing in for you, but they're a UK company. They make off-road stuff for all kinds of stuff, and they also do it in America too. But they make them here and ship them over to you. But hopefully you can find that next time if it does go again, because you don't want the wheel coming off like what happened with my dad the other time.
Yes.
He was in the ditch upside down, and it was quite frightening. That's it.
Also,
that was actually just up the road from where I had where it was hit today as well. In fact, it was a ditch, and when the wheel came off on his car. So yeah, you don't want that.
You don't want that. That's a busy area there.
No.
So on this one, the world has surged past 40% clean power in record renewables boom. What's cool there is it's the whole world, not just one region like China or the US or UK. It's the whole world. They have nuclear and renewables have done 40.9% of power generation for the year 2024. So just this past year. Exactly, over 40%. This is the first time since the 1940s. I'm guessing the only reason in the 40s was they were just out of oil because they put it other places. And according to a new global energy think tank Ember report, the renewables added a record 858 terawatt hours in 2024, which is 49% more than the previous high in 2022. Solar was the largest contributor for the third year running, adding 474 of those terawatt hours to reach a share of 6.9% total. And solar was the fastest growing at an additional 29% for the 20th year in a row. And it makes sense. They're solid state. You just throw this assembly out in the field or on a roof, and it just starts making free money.
Boom.
Yeah, nuclear's good too. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to be, well, it doesn't say there's nothing to be afraid of with it, but if it's done right, there's nothing to be afraid of with it. So solar doubled in just 3 years, providing more than 2,000 terawatt hours of electricity in 2024. Good gracious. So 2,200.
Australia is the greatest case for solar in the world. They love it. They switched almost once they got rid of that last MP or second last one.
Yeah, all the coal.
I got a lot of family down in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm global.
Wind grew to 8.1%. The largest single source remains steady at 14% of the global. I don't understand how this jives. You got 2,000, and the total for the whole sector was 858. So I'm guessing that this is a unit error, and that should be megawatt hours, or they dropped some zeros up here, and maybe that's gigawatt hours. Something's up with that part. But either way, that is phenomenal. It's a step in the right direction, and like I keep saying, not only is it good for the air, good for the environment, it's good for your wallet. If you can put out, like I said, put out these assemblies, these big dumb computers, basically, in a field, and have them start making you power. We've seen that the countries with energy are the ones that are thriving, both in food and technology, education.
And we come back to butts in the seats.
Yep.
Just like EV owners, all EV owners, once they drive them and check it out, they're convinced,
Yep.
as I am. Same with alternative energy. The minute, and I love so many of the YouTubers that point out small business owners. They're small business owners like myself. I'm the tiniest one of all. If I can save a buck,
Yeah,
I want it.
exactly.
And the more that they're seeing renewable energy, we have a broader way. I love the way you say that. And when they say I can save more than a buck, I can save 10 times that.
Yep.
10x, I like to say 10 times.
And and if you can put a battery in the middle, exactly. And if you can afford to put a battery in the middle, it also separates you from any sort of mess that happens, even if it's only temporarily. Like we see in Africa, you can be on the edge of a village, and if you're not running a business, like if you're running a library or your home, and you get power cuts, well, you're not running a large enough business for them to care. They'll get your power back on eventually. But if you've got enough power to keep your lights on through the night, keep the fridge cold, wasting money on extra spoiling food, and you're not, having to change your nighttime routines too much. I mean, yeah, you might not be able to watch TV if it's a small battery, but at least the lights are on, and the fridge is running. Uh, that's a game changer, and this is the new, um, not really paradigm, but not really sliced bread, but it's the new thing that enables folks to just thrive, and it's really cool that it's obtainable now by us just end users, us just regular everyday folks.
I defer to Robert. He has his hands up.
Oh, go ahead, Robert.
I'll fold mine down.
Well, thank you for that, Kylander. Yeah, I was going to say back in the day when we didn't have the backups and the 3-day week happened, and I lost my system because there was no electric. Now the thing what happened is the whole estate. There was no gas then, so you had electric that powered the pump for that oil boiler. I think I remember telling you in the past.
Yeah.
But without that, you've got no heat.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because electric powers the pumping the oil to the boiler, so you got no heat.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then if you're
only a little pump, that's it.
Yeah, and if you're rural, that could be your water too.
Yeah.
You might not have water if you don't have any electricity for the pump.
Yep, that's right. For the people up, the same thing. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
And when it's cold and yes, this is it. You've got a backup for these things. But yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got
you're stuck there then.
Yeah. We've got another update here. This one is our spring update for the Tesla cars. We're looking at this one's coming from Tesla, so this is everything they're telling us. Plus, there might still be a couple surprises, so that's the way they work. It's something for everybody, but not everybody's got anything to go jump up and down about. But I think it's pretty cool. This one is finally happening in the U.S. We're getting the adaptive in the U.S. and Canada, where you can leave your high beams on all the time, and they will just turn off pixels. This isn't a very good example of it, but you can see here that it's not high beaming the Model 3 in front of this Model 3 or Model Y. It's dark above them, but it's bright everywhere else. This is going to do this for cars going your direction and oncoming. It's going to do it for bicycles and motorcycles. Robert saw it was doing it for pedestrians. I don't know if that's a legal requirement over where he is, or if it's just something that Tesla doesn't want to guarantee that they're going to handle.
I don't know, because some cars did it and some cars didn't, even with the matrix lights. So maybe it's got to be in their program to do it.
Right.
That was really nice, because it just tipped on that side, and I thought it was a problem. But then
Yeah.
I found out later that that's the thing they put in place, and it stops blinding people,
Exactly.
which is really nice.
Yeah. I think the reason they're doing it for people who are on wheeled transport is they can move faster than their footing. And so I think it's a bonus if it does it for pedestrians, and I'd like to see them all handle pedestrians because that's the way to go. Go ahead, Islander. Your pad's not open.
Topic so fast that I lost the train of my thought. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Mark will run. Here you go. Well, I can't play it for you. I'm talking to my friends here. All right.
There was one thing I wanted
Yeah.
to bring up, sticking with the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I am very enthusiastic the fact that now some of the Middle East is openly embracing us, and I say us because I don't own a Tesla, it's stock, but openly embracing Tesla. Where that came from, I don't care.
Probably the investment, but yeah.
American vehicles. I run into some of the most common folk you'll ever meet, and they all think Tesla's a foreign brand.
I don't know why, but you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
And Canadians
Yes.
have this opinion that Tesla is a foreign brand, and I'm not buying a foreign
Have anyone?
vehicle. Meanwhile, they're driving a Ford,
Yeah,
Dodge, or
exactly.
made in Mexico or Korea.
Yeah. Have any of them ever said where they think it is? I've never heard a country that they thought it was. They're just impressed that it's American.
They told me it's Chinese or Korean.
Oh. All right then. I don't get that vibe. I might see Japanese or German, but wow. So that the adaptive headlights for those cars that already have the equipment, it's getting turned on. So that's going to be uh, many years of Model 3 and Model Y, but not all of them. The new Model 3 and Model Y for sure, and the newest of Model S's and X's. Cybertruck, they said the headlights were too thin to. Anyone hold the candy for you? Want to hold on to the Huh? What's that? You want one? Is what you're saying? Here, I'll give you one. There, you can hold that. Okay.
Forget being co-host. I want to be a moderator like her. I want some of them cookies.
Right? She hustled me for some toys yesterday. She's a good negotiator. So yeah, so that doesn't include the Cybertruck, and that's just because they say that the headlight assemblies were too thin. I think that's kind of an excuse, but whatever. They'll find a way to do it, especially if it becomes law. This one is pretty cool. So on the new Model S and X, they finally get the blind spot camera where it belongs, right in front of you, instead of off to the side. Because on that car, everything's right in front of you. So why not? Why have the blind spot monitor off to here when everything's in front of you? And this makes sense. And so there it is. And then you can control that in the options. The dash cam update. This is a big one for the newer 3S, X, and Y. So basically, if you've got the AMD chip, is how I'm reading this. The B pillar cameras are now included in Sentry View, so they don't just use it to trigger, but now they can hit somebody like right there at the driver and passenger front windows, rather than looking at their lower section like you see here in this video, video clip in the screen. But then you've got the grid, you got front, back, left, right pillar, right pillar. So now instead of just looking at his chest and his pants, they're looking right at his face. Not that they couldn't get his face before, but depending on how the vandal was going, they might not have caught his face, and now they can. All right, so then we've got, and that's big, and this will also work during the during your road drives, your dash cam, not just the Sentry mode. So you're driving along and something happens, and it's not always in the view of the front camera. Sorry, in the rear cameras. So you've now got it in the side-facing front cameras. Alternative trip plans, I assume that's coming to everybody because they didn't call it out. Multiple trip plans are now available for you to choose from, allowing you to better suit your travel needs. And on this last update, it was a bug fix update, but my map is completely different display. The pins are now large circles, and it's interesting. This feels more friendly, and the color bands for traffic are a lot easier to see. And I'm not even on the spring update yet. This is just a random bug fix update. So you get these choices now. You get the fastest, the quickest route, best amenities, prioritizing stops near open and highly rated restaurants, shops, and restrooms, and fewer stops, minimizes your charging stops. So I've been complaining about this for years, that at some point the car decided it was trying to just stop less. I thought that was just asinine because why do I want to sit here for an hour when I could do 2 charging stops and be at my destination 30, 40 minutes earlier than what the car is talking about with my 1 stop? And I felt at the time that was just them trying to appease new owners that don't understand the paradigm isn't the same as filling up a gas car. And I'm glad to see now that we get the option back, because what we used to be was on fastest route. When you stop here for 5 minutes, there for 10 minutes, and over here for 6 minutes, and you'll be at your destination. Okay, let's do it. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, you need to sit here for 40 minutes. You need to sit here for an hour and a half. Like, what do I need a full charge for? We're going through the mountains. That part of Texas that says next fuel stop 100 miles. Come on now. And so I'm glad to see that's back. But this one is really nice right here. Hopefully, you can do like best 2 out of 3. But the good thing is you can do it on the fly. You can pick the stops with highly rated restaurant shops and the restrooms. So if you're on fastest or fewest and it's the middle of the night and one of your trip mates says, "Hey, I gotta go," you can change it to best amenities, and you'll make sure that there's an open restroom at the next charging stop, assuming they can hold it that long. Uh, if you have a Cybertruck, you're going to be in comfort drive mode whenever you turn on autopilot. Lane departure avoidance is on Cybertruck is now going to work like it does on the rest of the vehicles. And if you enable the steering assist, it will help bump you back into the lane just like the others do. And this feels like your car has fallen into a rut in the road. It's like a very smooth dip that's caught your wheel, and you can steer out of it if you want, or you can just let it push you back in. And just mine doesn't do it often because I signal for everything, even in parking lots. But it's just because it doesn't happen often for me. It's just the way like following in like a dirt road track on a smooth road that's just been redone. Like, how'd that get there? Did I just follow a heavy truck? Oh no, the paint's shifted. And one time I was looking at something that happened off to our right, and I crossed the left just a little bit because I was distracted by what was going on this side, making sure I didn't hit that. And then the car did its thing. It's like, oh, 'cause I could feel it. I knew what it was by that point. I could feel it do the thing with the wheel. Like, oh, I looked ahead first, and there was no rut, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked over to see what it was doing, and it's like, oh, I'm not straight in the lane. And that time there was nothing on the other side, but it's still nice to be straight in the lane if that distraction over there isn't something that forces you out of the lane. Um, let's see. You can now save your trunk height location, or based on location, for the Model 3 and Y, and the new Model S and X, and the new Model 3. Interesting. It doesn't say new Model Y. But that's definitely got a power trunk. And I'm curious why not the S and X. They were the first ones to have this ability. Basically, you open the trunk, you hold the button until it beeps, and that sets the height. But now it's doing that per location. And S and X old, they had location-based suspension. So why is it hard to do location-based trunk opening? I'm not sure, but at the very least, you can just set it to like go always low or something like that. I don't know. maybe not having this feature will get you to upgrade your car to another one. That's they're thinking. If it's not technical,
I'm co-host. I'm going to acknowledge my own hand.
do it. Yeah, because like it's down here and I'm up there.
Yeah, I know it's tough,
Go ahead.
but I think I'm becoming a professional test driver through the free test drives. 2 more, and I think I qualify for a gold star or something.
Nice.
And I told them I love FSD, but when you get to a parking lot, forget it. Now I mean that. Forget it. They can park at your home and back up beautifully.
Yeah.
When you get to a shopping mall, it's game over. And I said, you know what? 90% of people can't do it either. I mean, it's a mess. That's where most accidents happen.
Yes.
They don't happen on I-75 or, let's see, you're what, I-90 down there, wherever,
All over.
south of I-64. But
Mhm.
parking lots, they're the worst.
They are.
And they acknowledge it.
They do. So parking lots are a mixed bag for this thing right now.
To the next point, I was going to say about the route planners.
Mhm.
I know with different route planners, I'm not sure about the Tesla one, but it showed fastest. It also showed an area with most hills.
Mhm.
And then it also said about traffic on those roads and said this is the one to go to avoid those traffic. And it picks that one. So it's going to be quicker to go this way. And then it says about the hills from the other one for there as well. So
Yeah.
noticing that on there as well. So that's an added thing to it. And it even shows you the elevation and then it shows you the other stuff as well. So I mean, I think that's a good point as well.
Nice. We were talking about batteries earlier, and I realized that my solar battery was full. So that beeping that you guys heard on the space, you didn't hear it on YouTube, was me switching over to battery because well, when it's full, the solar stops. So that's a waste. So turn on the battery. Uh, but back to the parking lots. Mine yesterday we had a couple of errands we ran. It was fun with me and Moto. We went to the pharmacy, and this particular pharmacy has the angled forward parking spots. So the car came in, it did a lap, and then it parked right in a prime parking spot perfectly. So I hit park, and we got out. And then we went to the local electronics store where I got these headphones that I don't like, and then Moto hustled me for some toys. That one had regular straight in spots. The car came in, it looped the parking lot, didn't like what it saw when it first came through. It looped through again, found one it liked, and it parked in the middle of like 4 parking spots. I was like, you're trying to get me in trouble here. So I reversed it and then drove in across the. So I like to be reversed in rather than nose in, and I basically pulled through once I straightened it out, so that it would have been as I would have done was reversed in the first place, and I was more happy with it that way.
Question, was
Yeah.
that hardware 3?
Yeah, hardware 3. 12.6.4.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I speak from personal experiences by doing it on the cheap and going to dealers or sales rooms or showrooms for free.
yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I like going on a good test drive. So they're always hours for me. So avoid highways is the last option they've got for navigation, and you can now avoid highways when possible. You go to controls, navigation, avoid highways. Some people don't like to get on the highway, or there could be a reason you're doing it, like maybe you're towing or some other reason you want to go slowly, or you just don't like them. I know a lot of people that just don't like highways. You can now switch your keyboard languages. You can switch between different input methods on your touchscreen. So if you have 2 languages that you speak, or anything like that, because previously the only way to get your keyboard to change language was to change the whole user interface language. They've returned a feature that we were complaining about. On some of the cars, they took away the ability to keep your USB and rear power outlets turned on when you had Sentry mode on or when you just left the car locked. It's back now, but now it's something you can switch. So it's going to be off by default still. But if you've got like a fridge that you're trying to run in your car, or you're trying to charge a battery for your drone or anything like that, as long as your car battery is above 20%, it will provide that power. And this is the way it used to act, but now it's a switch to say, hey, this is for sure what I want. So you're not surprised by the consumption at idle or off. We got some minor updates coming. Media search results are now filtered by sources, providing faster and more streamlined access to content. You can now shuffle the entire Apple Music playlist that contains more than 100 songs. You've got easily scroll through your Sirius XM favorites by tapping on the steering wheel button left or right. Sign in with Amazon Music free account, but it still requires premium connectivity or Wi-Fi connection to actually use it, which makes sense because if you're not giving them money for the connection and they haven't signed up to give you a free connection, then you would still need a connection to use the free Amazon account. See what song will play next on the YouTube Music playlist up in the up next view of the media player, and that's gonna be nice because I have switched mostly to using YouTube Music rather than Spotify. As a YouTuber, it comes with your premium account. Let's see. If your hotspot is enabled, it will automatically connect your vehicle once you start driving. So you won't have to reconnect each time. I think that was poorly worded. The car will automatically connect to your hotspot. So if you've got like a mobile jump pack or your phone or tablet just stays on hotspot mode, once you're out of drive, the car will disconnect as it tends to do. And then it'll come back on its own rather than you having to go push Wi-Fi on and then keep it on. Go ahead, Handler. What you got?
I just wanted to say I am so looking forward to my next adventure. Like I say, I do it on Saturdays or Sundays, usually Saturday.
Yeah.
Going for the free test drives. I mean, I got the afternoon free. I'm obviously into it. But this time, I'm far more educated. And I'm always very polite, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I know now I'm going to play with that screen. And I'm not being mean about it. I'm going to play with that screen for like 20 minutes and videotape every minute of it
There you go.
before I pull out of that parking lot.
Yes.
I know better now. It's a learning journey for me. And listening to you and Robert and the other people who pop in and out, it helps. But I hope they're happy with me and not like, oh, here comes a pain in the butt type of guy.
As long as you're not taking their last car, I'm sure they're like, here's the keys. Go have fun. Because eventually you're going to get one.
I was going to ask you about languages. I mean,
Yeah.
when Welsh is coming through, because when I did the voice command, it couldn't understand me even when I spoke English, let alone Welsh. I was just wondering when they're going to bring that in, because I hope they do. Because at first he said he didn't recognise us as a country, which I found rather upsetting.
Who think that the FedEx guy or Musk?
Elon Musk said he didn't recognise us as a country, and I thought that was
There's a proud country.
Right.
Yeah, and to say that was very offensive. But yeah, I mean, I said to him, when are you going to bring in the Welsh language? And he said he didn't recognise us as a country, and I was very offended by that.
He's a member of the If Your Feelings crowd.
Yeah. And so I said to him, look, you put the other things, why can't you do the voice commands? I mean, he can't even recognise me when I'm speaking the language now. I thought, how can it understand that?
I don't know about the voice support, but I thought I saw something about, but that could have been Swedish. The languages they added. I see them as they add them, but I don't pay enough attention to them as they do, unless they're here on the web. But you're right, though. It has been a minute since I saw a language added.
Language like ancient Gaelic, and I could speak like 10 words. It's so small that it really doesn't enter into the market. I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
They've some really small ones they added. Yeah.
People speak Welsh abroad and actually in Wales now because of a lot of people that passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people immigrated abroad and still do speak in the southern areas of the world and other places too. So there is that to it. But but the fact that it can't understand you, or even the street signs, you say I want to go to the Besses of Coed, and it won't do it.
Right.
So. But
which, like I said, I just speak 10 words, but there's so many of us from Scotland or Wales that went abroad, and we work hard, like I do, to uphold our traditions. That there are more ancient Gaelic speakers in the United States and Canada than there are in Scotland. And I'm proud to say the Isle of Skye is home to the official College of Ancient Gaelic. Thank you for the public service announcement.
So this one Highlander touched on earlier. The Cybertruck has now officially made its way out of North America, and the second place you can buy it now is UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East. And they announced a new trim that we're going to have some discussion on here. They had the Cyber Beast and the dual motor that we're used to, yes, but then we saw this. Let's take a look here. Let's go copy, link to this, paste, and we got this. We've got a long-range rear-wheel drive Cybertruck variant with 350 miles of range. You can add additional 12 if you add the manual optional tonneau cover. It's basically the same tonneau cover you see on everybody else's truck, the soft one, but it does that angle thing because that's how the Cybertruck is shaped. And they say it adds 12 miles if you use it and you close it. So this truck is 517 pounds lighter than the all-wheel drive and can see the new 18-inch wheel covers. I like those, and if they fit over the dual motor and Beast, and then whatever one I get, I will try and switch these wheels because I like them better than what they come with. Towing capacity is 7,500 pounds as they promised, so it's a drop. But the payload capacity also drops down to 2,000, and your ground clearance drops to 9.5 inches instead of 16 because, well, it doesn't have air suspension. It's got coil springs, and so it just rides lower. They also get rid of the rear storage bay for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I guess to save the 25 parts it takes to make the rear storage bay, but it's a weird cut. I don't know that I would see a Legacy do that particular cut. They might not include the lid or the springs or something, but they wouldn't not have the hole. It appears the rear-wheel drive trim has no air suspension based on much lower ground clearance. Also, the range numbers in the Middle East websites on Cybertruck all-wheel drive and Cyber Beast match exactly what EPA range in the US is. Remember, I put these in the order I find them, so he's speculating on something that we found out later is true. So the size, the millimeters. I just like that wheel design, and I like to have some meat on my tires when I'm in a truck. So if that fits over the equipment for the dual motor or the Cyber Beast or whichever one if I still end up getting the truck, that's what I'll do. What might catch me is if the new Model X comes out and it can do what we need. For me, the Cybertruck, not this one, but the normal two, feel to me like a big Model Y rather than one of their premium flagship vehicles. So I'd like to see a Model X or Cyber X or whatever that has, but I need the towing capacity. Because right now, to fully load up my trailer would put me out of spec, and that's not safe. So I don't fully load up my trailer. So the Cybertruck specs, we'll go ahead and switch to the American site for that. Let me check and see. Here's some photos. We'll check and see what else I've got in the notebook before we go straight up to their sales site. Take a look. Copy the link. Go ahead, Highlander, while I load this up. On mute. All right, so here's another better look at the wheels. I just really enjoy them. You'll notice that the pedals are plastic instead of metal, or metal covered, I should say. So here we are, the US spec. We've got 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds, which is still great for a truck. It's slower than any other Tesla for a long time, but great for a truck. No rear screen, cloth and textile seats, no rear heated seats, no air suspension. Standard bed lamps and tail lamps instead of premium on the higher trims. No rear light bar. I don't know if you get a front light bar or not. No bed outlets. Standard bed upgradable with soft tonneau. 7 speakers instead of 15. No ventilated seats. 18-inch wheels with different wheel cover design. Much lighter weight. You got the Cyber wheel covers for $3,500. So it's the same as when they were doing the core wheels on the dual motor. FSD for 7,000 for early reservation holders, 8,000 for non-reservation holders. And I saw some folks complaining about that, but that's what they had. I don't want to say promise. That's what they had told us unofficially for reservation holders. Since when you reserved, it said 7,000, so they're maintaining that. Yeah, yeah.
I was seeing an article earlier, and I saw another thing. They were saying that they were going to do a change to the tunnel cover. That when
Yeah.
it closes, the top part of it would stop obscured. It would be a see-through, like a perspex or glass or whatever, the top piece. So when it closed, you could still see through the back. So the top piece of it would be see-through, and so allowing you to see through the rear of the vehicle.
I mean,
Instead of it being closed off and having to have the camera.
yeah.
I hope we are not sending these cheap, hot, low-end ones to the Middle East. All I could think of sand in Western Michigan, where I'm from. I would want the full tunnel. I mean, these people can afford it. Send over the best we have. Put your best foot forward.
Yeah,
Don't send them the lower expensive versions.
well, that's if they pick
My
the
opinion.
if they pick the cheap one, they can get the cheap one. But they're getting all three, from what I can tell.
Well, because it blocks out the back at the moment when the cover's down, isn't it? But this one will be clear, though, so I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not.
I don't know if they.
The top piece of it, as when it comes down, the top piece will allow you to still see through the rear through the window.
I mean, that would be nice. I don't know if they would do it though.
I want to be able to jump. I want to know everything in there is locked up safe.
Exactly, and that's probably the reason why I think they're not going to do a clear section unless they're going to make it out of their new glass, because the part of the sales point was that it was obscure what was back there. But what they could do is either put a washer on that rear camera or put another rear camera like Rivian has to make it a better experience when that is closed. So I think that's all the. No, it's not. As I say, I think that was all that we had in there. I was going to go to the sales site, but let's see what else Sawyer has found here, and then we'll go to the sales.
Well, you're looking. That's at Sawyer Merritt. That's one of the biggest things. I'm a proponent of minivans.
Yeah,
As a tradesman, and I am. It's locked up and secure.
exactly.
You know, buy this, buy that. I said, look, the number one thing is what makes a minivan. You can put a 4x8 sheet of anything,
Anything.
drywall, plywood. The minute
Yes.
you can do that and lock down the bale hitch, that's a minivan. That's
Exactly.
what you want and need.
I was looking at that other one that Slimy sent the picture to me because I said to her I've seen it, and then she said, "Is it this one?" I said, "Yes." There was a black one with the cab thing on the back, and that eliminates a lot of those problems because you got that big cab, which is actually good for towing because when you've got a straighter back and it comes down and you're towing something behind, it creates a different wake,
Yeah.
and then you get more mileage. They tried it without that cab on the back and with it, and they got 10 miles further down the road. So I mean that's worth it in itself. But yeah, that one gives you all that extra space then as well, and you can see at the back as well. So that's you can have another row of seats in there or do whatever. But that black one that Slimy sent me before I told her about it, I said, "Oh," and she said, "That one."
Yeah, definitely. I didn't put it in here, but there was somebody who jumped their Cybertruck at 60 miles an hour, and it didn't have any damage, but that was interesting. I don't recommend doing that. So here's everything else that the rear wheel drive doesn't have. You don't get a HEPA filter. I talked about suspension. No rear light bar, as we see here in this photo right here. No rear light bar. You just get the corner lights.
HEPA filter?
No HEPA filter.
I would think that's something, here again, going back just to Western Michigan where we got a lot of sand.
Yeah.
That in Saudi Arabia type area where there's a lot of sand, I think they kind of want that.
Right.
Where I live in Grand Rapids and Spring Lake.
Have they still got the things in the bed for the power sockets and all of that? Because I mean that's something they might take out as well.
They did take it out. So I'm not sure how big the HEPA. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure how big the filter is on Cybertruck, but on Model X, it's so big. It's almost the size of the one in my house. and so it's like $460 to replace it, but you only have to do it every 4 years. Um, I could see that being a reason that they mess with it if it's much bigger than the one in the Model Y. But like I said, to me, it feels like a large Model Y versus a different style Model X. So I want to say it's probably the cheaper filter. Um, but yeah, that's what you expect them to see. Textile seats instead of vegan leather. That one makes sense to me. It's a good way to save some money. You got a picture? Yeah. I don't know who those people are.
Show me picture and mommy show me when you're baby next to you.
Yeah, I was showing her my baby pictures the other day. I think that's just the picture that comes with the.
Picture.
Yeah, that's just the picture.
Those things have been quite easy to clean out.
Talking about her, baby.
Off seats are generally cooler and easier to clean as well.
Yes, yes. I don't know about easier to clean than the vegan leather, but they are definitely cooler than the vegan leather. Um, unless you turn on the ventilation, but you can have ventilated cloth seats. They just aren't common. The headlights without signature lamps. Nobody knows what that means yet. We've been looking, and standard bed lamps instead of premium. So I'm guessing they're just like the regular little spotlights instead of the long, bright, dimmable lights that they had in the bed before. No L track in the bed. No 2 times 120 volts in the bed. No 1x 240 volts in the bed. This one I'm not sure of because when I looked, Tesla made it seem that you did get the 2x outlets in the cabin. We'll check that again in the website. But he says that no, they're not there. No heated seats and
The sound system or something about them.
yeah, we're getting the sound system. Yep,
Yeah, down to like 9 speakers or something. Eh?
7.
Seven.
Yeah. So no heated rear seats and no ventilated front seats. Standard console and no second row screen. Only 7 speakers. No active noise cancellation. That's interesting. That's gonna sound interesting with those huge wheels if you option up to them. No mechanical front locking differential, which makes sense because it's not it's just one motor, but it's not like one motor 4-wheel drive. It's one motor. Right. No air suspension.
Features over a Lightning or a GM or whatever, the Hummer.
Gone.
They threw them out the window.
Yep. It's got a lower 2007 pound
Hard
payload.
to make a vehicle.
That's true. A lower 2007 pound payload instead of 2,500, but they promised us 2,000 on the sales sheet and they did it. 7,500 towing capacity instead of 11, and that's what they promised, and they did it. So I mean that's fine, and but what they did promise us was a much lower range, and they did give us a higher range, which is nice. But I don't think this is the standard one. This is just called the Cybertruck Long Range. It's not called the Cybertruck um, base model or whatever. They gave it a name, Long Range Rear Wheel Drive. So I have a feeling they intend to actually cut more, even if it's just the battery size. I think they're going to cut more. Deliveries begin in June, and the soft tonneau cover begins shipping in June as well. And here's a photo of the soft tonneau cover deployed. You'll have to manually flip that out, just like you do on everybody else's pickup truck. I see that they kept the rack mount system. That was generous of them.
I'm gonna bounce over to your YouTube real quick.
Okay. And I still like these wheels all the way through and through. I love these base model wheels over all of their other options. Maybe I'm just weird. All right, so let's
I like the front wheel myself. It gives you more cushion, doesn't it?
yeah, more cushion, better resistance to potholes, and as long as you don't switch to true blue trucking wheels, this is less the true blue trucking wheels. You have a bumpier ride, and they're heavier than the middle range large wheels. You were done. You were asleep. Here, have it back. I've got a fresh one for you after you finish this little nipple.
I heard that other one about manual. A lot of people are bringing back. I see on your thing there about the manual windows. Windows down back again.
I think this one is a joke, but it's kind of funny to me because a couple of the engineers I've spoken with have said that actually these cost them more than the power windows. because you have to have a gear in there, and you have to have it very directly accessible. You have to crash test it. Versus with power windows, they're all the same. There's just a module, and then you just eat the cost of whatever that 12-volt motor is. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, I think that's humorous. And yeah, same thing. Nobody knows yet what the signature versus regular headlamps mean. So let's go on over to let me check one more time, and then we'll go on over to Tesla's site. No, I'll copy the paragraph. Won't copy the link. Almost there.
While you're doing that, I'd like to say I like how you stick to the script,
Thank you.
and yet you allow us to deviate just a little bit here and there,
Yeah,
and we appreciate that.
thank you. It makes it more
Now,
dynamic.
I went
Yeah.
back to your YouTube.
Yeah.
And the latency, time delay, I'd rather say I'm old school, time delay, it's quite a bit. I don't understand it, but I mean, it was like 20 minutes ago.
Oh wow.
I don't understand it, but I don't care. What I want to understand is
Yeah.
I
I have
want to
trouble
be
with
able to
YouTube,
reach
too.
out to the other prominent Tesla people and give them a link to your room. A lot of them are happy to jump in at least for a couple of minutes and say hi, but I'm your co-host and I had trouble finding your room. I got to go to YouTube, then I got to look up your G, whatever it is.
G custom, yeah. So I
I'm
wonder.
just saying.
I wonder
I'm
if
just
X
keeping
is.
it real, brother.
I wonder if X is suppressing it, or if they just don't give me the boost everybody else gets because I didn't schedule it in advance. I'll have to start scheduling the spaces. See if that does.
It's in certain times I get things told to me afterwards.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it. Yeah, so you'll send me something and I won't see the notification
For hours or days.
the time it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've also had the problem on YouTube of the buffering,
Yeah.
and then it switches to ads.
Yeah.
Oh,
So watching on Facebook and listening to you on Twitter or X, because that seemed to be the best thing because I was having the issues with YouTube.
I understand.
But yeah, I wish I have to keep looking in, and I have to go into my DMs, and
Yeah.
then I see your thing. But I'm looking there, just sitting scrolling through. It doesn't show that there's any DMs there, so I
Yeah.
DMs, and then I see you.
PM.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Which is it's weird to me though, because like typically it's Facebook that gives me the troubles with this broadcast. But this week it was Google, and that's weird to me. But we got through it, and here we are. So what this little
Here
clip
we are.
Yeah, what this little clip we're showing on screen from Drive Test to Canada, Darren put up for us, is how the manual tonneau works. You can see it's still got the slats. They're just covered in a fabric, and you have to manually roll them out. I guess the leather fabric thing is just, yeah, I guess that's just together.
Not the one I saw. This one I saw folded in sections, in 3 sections.
Yeah,
And the top section was the clear section, so it didn't roll. It's folded.
right.
So yeah, the perspex, the top piece was clear, and then the
Yeah.
other 2 sections it folded out.
Yeah. But this is the one that they're offering for the standard, I'm sorry, standard, the long range rear wheel drive option, and then you can see it works just like it does on most pickup trucks. Some of them will have a power slider, some of them will have a slide, but you have to manually push it and pull it. But this is the way most of them go. I mean, just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean that you get rid of one of the best selling features of the vehicle. I mean, if anything, just get rid of the thing like they did and just leave it like that. But let the aftermarket come up with something. But
Yeah, Rivian came out with it first,
Mhm.
and they failed. And then the Cybertruck did it beautifully. I'm sorry if it costs more money, but
yeah,
quality costs.
It
and
does.
That's one of the bigger selling features.
yeah, to the point
You
where
do away with the fast, high, low.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, make it go slower. Put a cheaper motor on it. Yeah,
The safety lockability
yes,
that they had with that. It just,
right. I can't help the feeling that they weren't going to do this at all until they found out that you get 12 more miles with this thing deployed. So they had to do it because their whole thing is efficiency. So that's what it looks like closed. And at this point, let's go on over to their configurator.
it doesn't do anything to protect my tool.
Right. All right. So we're going to Tesla.com.
Some lock boxes to put your tools in with the lambs.
Right, but
Yeah,
with a van or minivan, you don't have to worry about. I know what they cost. They can cost up to $2,000.
Yes. Versus just being included. Yeah, you don't need that with the van. Yeah. And then if they hadn't made it an option, like if it was just there, then it was already included on the other trucks. So there it is, towing a smaller Airstream. You can tow much heavier than that. 5-star rating, 362 miles now, 6 foot by 4 foot. Okay, there we go. So 362 with the thing deployed. Redefining the pickup truck. Oh, so when I went, they hadn't yet redone the website, so this is nice to look at. Sorry, I'm seeing it for the first time with you guys. We've got the AI ask a question that they were talking about earlier that wasn't there for us. There it is, without the optional tonneau cover. I think that's what it was. It didn't look like the premium. I didn't see the bed lights of the L track. I might have just looked too quickly. I'll let it go one more cycle because I'm curious now. Got the bigger wheels. You can buy the bigger wheels for the base model. I'm calling it base now. Yeah,
I think there were like 18 inches standard and 20 on the optional, something right close.
Yeah, 18.
Please correct me.
Okay, so there it was closed with the slats. That first shot, it looks like they did several shoots of this with the standard range and the long range rear wheel drive and the rest of the trucks, because it seems to just switch back and forth. That or they just had such a low resolution camera that it didn't get picked up. Redefine the truck. So here you got the under seat storage option. Oh, that's the front. Okay. The under seat looks similar to what they were doing. There's the front. You get to keep the front. You do lose the under bed storage in the rear wheel drive. All right. That power on tap. You still do have that on the rear wheel drive, but you don't get it from the bed. I'm going to show you guys where you get it in just a moment. I do love the rear steering. Yeah.
So my sister in Ann Arbor, they got I call it VW3 and a VW4.
Mhm.
They're electric ones. I opened the hood and I'm like, "Where's the front?"
There's none.
None.
Yeah.
My sister just bought and she loves it. People love these.
Yeah.
It's a Nissan Aria.
Yeah.
She bought it used. First time buyers love them. I'm like, "Where's the front?" She's like, "Shut up."
Right.
I'm
But they
talking
love
to
it.
someone with cars that
It's still got all the knobs, the push buttons, but it's fully electric, so it's an easy transition. But if you've driven a Tesla or any other pure EV product, they hate them.
Yeah.
It's got too many knobs. They don't like it. But for first-time buyers, they love these. You can get these done.
Well, because it's what they're used to, but better. And so, but for us, like you said, it's not what we're used to or better.
Well, it's like stock back. Here's what I found so interesting when I've been on these last couple test drives. Just muscle memory alone, when I went to turn, I went to reach the little stock.
Yes.
Old enough, we didn't even have stock.
Right. But it's been so long though.
It was a little switch on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. But they've been so long they had to put it back on Model Y just for comfort.
If you here on your phone.
Yeah. On my phone we've got Highlander and Robert.
hello, young one.
Them down.
Are you gonna take blood pressure?
Being brought up with technology.
Yes.
Just don't put the cell phone next to their head for Pete's sakes.
I've noticed a lot of people are blind to certain brands.
Yes.
Even blindly when they're having a bad car, they still stick to the other one.
Right.
Some other ones that have had enough that they start looking at the other brands. I think that's where things change.
That's how Toyota lost me.
That's it. The people say, "Look, I've had enough." Then they their feet. So, I mean, the ones they said it wasn't so much the car, but it was the dealers
Yeah.
that made them experience so badly. Because I was talking to them about it when I was doing the work. They said, "Yeah, the car's problem so much; it was the dealership problems." So you don't get that with the Tesla. If you're going there, the only problem we had was that man that was racist. Experience for the whole time, landing the car in, come back for it.
Yeah, the experience, even with Tesla, if you got a location that's got a bad staff, they get a
I
reputation.
mean, that man was so racist, disgraceful. So
Work, baby. Work.
they wouldn't give him a car to go back. And made him walk.
I am.
That would be on the bills.
Yeah.
That was nearly 50 miles you had to walk.
Mm.
Can you imagine? It's a space.
So ready we are. Enter another world. Have more fun. All right, so this won't be there on the rear wheel drive, the rear screen. You good? Oh, you want more? Okay, hold on. Let me move you. Let me move you. Get up more. I've got more. Down here. Here. Comfortable?
If you heard my chat, yeah.
It's like uncomfortable. Put it in my mouth. Okay. Then we've got take on a terrain, overland mode, wave mode. Okay, so no, we did have the lights in that one. They shut it off. Okay. 2.6 seconds to 60. Excuse me, with the Cyber Beast, 11,000 pounds tow capacity. That didn't used to be the case on the Cyber Beast. I saw they changed that and it's back. 845 raw horsepower. Future of travel is autonomous, designed to be the safest drive in the world. We saw this video earlier. Overall NHTSA rating, full self-driving supervised, Sentry mode. Get the bike thing. I don't know why the bike doesn't fit inside. With a 6-foot bed, it just doesn't. I guess more of these bikes are actually longer than 6 feet. That's probably why. The light bar is optional, so you don't get the L track on the rear wheel drive, and I don't think you get this matte. You just get the raw composite floor. Power anything with Cybertruck. Standard. So far, standard on the 3 they offer. All right, so now let's compare these. You got the Cyber Beast. Make this taller since I got this daggum AI thing under here. All right, so you get your Cyber Beast. The charging is the same for all of them except for how many miles are covered. I'll make it taller. Oh, screen turned off. I'll share still in here with you guys. Okay, good. So Cyber Beast, you get 320 miles, 2.6 seconds, there's 60, 325, 4.1, and then 362, 6.2. Rear wheel drive, top speed 112, towing 7,500, 11,000, 112, all wheel drive, 130, 11. Weight's almost 7,000 pounds for the Cyber Beast. Cargo is 120.7 cubic feet. 6634 for the all-wheel drive, and 618 for the rear-wheel drive. But notice the cargo drops to 119 from 120. Turns out that is the underbed storage locker, the Smuggler's Cove, Smuggler's Bay, whatever they want to call it. Seating is the same. Displays are not the same. 18.5 center, 9.4 rear, 18.5 center. Ground clearance drops to 9.7 total versus up to 16 in extract for both of these. The rest of the dimensions, I believe, stay the same. Yeah, it just drops a line for the screen. And the charging, it says it changes, but that's really just because of the efficiency. So Cyber Beast is up to 135 miles added in 15 minutes. 325 max pay-per-use. Unless it's foundation, then you get no pay-per-use. Same for the all-wheel drive, but changes to 137 miles added in 15 minutes from 135. Then the long range, up to 147. But it's the same battery, so it still charges at the same speed. Well, don't try to breathe the milk, child. Yeah. Oh, that's another one to check out is the warranty. Does the warranty change like it used to do on the old S and X? 8 years, 150,000 miles, whichever comes first. 4 years, 50. It does not look like it changes. Let's go on over here and see.
I think it's worth noting that none of the traditional auto manufacturers offer that kind of warranty.
No, they didn't even touch it. Yeah, 336 and 560.
It's also in terms of she isn't gone longer and longer.
Yeah.
It was 3 years. It was even months or less. So yeah, I was looking at that the other day, and I was looking at some of the warranties, the paper they're written on. So
True.
you have to look at what it actually does, the warranty.
Yeah, yeah. Most other vehicles in the U.S. is 3 years, 36,000 miles comprehensive. So the 450, and instead of 8 years, 150, or in my case, 8 years unlimited, you've got 5 years and 60,000 miles, and then for the electrics and the hybrid.
I know best. Is it true that in the United States that any electric vehicle manufacturer has to offer an 8-year warranty on?
Exactly, I was about to say yes. So that's where it changes on the hybrids and the electrics, is that they must have that legal requirement compliance, at least in California, and so that's why they offer it elsewhere in the rest of the states if it's not a U.S. requirement. I don't know if it's U.S., but definitely California. In fact,
Well,
California, it used to be
I was going
10.
to ask you about that because the other one, the hybrid one, the Kia that exploded, the
Mhm.
engine, their battery part, the other part wasn't covered. They changed the engine, and then they said, "Oh, we just have to, you just have to scrap it." So this woman's had to go back to a 20-year-old Ford Fiesta. I said to you that thing was a hand grenade. She didn't get 60 miles out of it before it blew up.
Oh man,
Yeah, that SUV one, the what's it called, Kia Sportage,
yeah.
and yeah, it's
With
detonated.
with the Hyundai Kia group, the first owner gets stellar warranty, and the second owner, if they don't get it from authorized dealer in the right plan, they get nothing on any of the higher tech stuff. I'm just noticing this child's got purple hair like her sister does. If you hit the light just right, it's got a little bit of red and a little bit of purple in there.
Ford Fiesta in the Navy.
Yeah,
Absolute funnest car I ever had. I could get it on 2 wheels, but I was in the Navy and I didn't care. 4 good years cost me $100, brand new, but I got them on base.
yeah,
That car was a riot to drive. To this day, as far as I know, in Europe, they have little Ford Fiesta racetracks.
nice.
It's the greatest vehicle ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, in my
For the money.
for the money,
There
yeah,
were no thrills. I mean, it was
it's bare bones, yeah,
a piece of sheet metal
yeah,
and a 4-speed, but boy, was that fun to drive.
yeah. I remember my Prius. The tires were like $200 for the set. I don't think they'd cost that in today's money, but man, that was nice. It was real nice. It's not pretty when I have to do the tires on this thing. Ugh. All right. So next up, oh wait, we didn't do the. I was gonna tell you guys about the power. I said what the power. So let's leave the power real quick. So let's leave it on. Um, I like how they remember my actual location here. All right, so we're gonna leave on cash, and we'll leave on $7,500. We're gonna stay on the long range. So these wheels, I love these wheels. They just look better to me than the rest. And so as we see here, no tonneau cover, no rear light bar. I don't know what the front lighting situation is that they're talking about. Look at those wheels. They just feel good to me. Interior, you can see that the pedals are plastic, no metal cover on them. It looks like this front console is the same. So the only thing they did was take out the rear seat. The rear screen, sorry. Anything else missing aside from speaker grills? I see the camera looking back at you. I see uh, the sun visors. And there it is.
Casey, on a technical note, are you able to do split screen between your YouTube and X right now?
Like it'll be like a funhouse mirror if I put my X on the screen.
Like I got to switch back and forth, but I know some of the really, really big YouTubers, speaking primarily of Tesla people,
Yeah.
they can do it seamlessly.
What do you mean?
Just wondering if you're at that point where you can do that on a single device.
I've got them both on. Like I can see the X comments and the YouTube comments here on the stream. Is that what you mean, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I mean.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Because the video should be identical on both.
One other technical point,
Yeah.
say 110
Yeah.
Eastern,
120,
which I'm on.
110 Eastern, yeah.
1 o'clock is much better. You say, and then it took us half an hour to get hooked up.
It did. It certainly did today. The reason I do 110 is it gives me time to deal with most technical difficulties. Lets me oversleep and all that sort of stuff. But then when I had the kiddos, it became probably not enough. The other reason I like to do it at the canted from the hour is I don't disappear in everybody's notifications when all the other larger channels say, "All right, I'm going on at 1 o'clock," or we've released a video, and then like I get buried in that 1 p.m. push, and then I just never changed it after that.
It's just a lot of people post at the same time. Like,
Yes.
I have to go back looking through it. When I see Project Farms has done a video, and then after I finish on your page, I go back and see what he's done. Some good stuff. Then some of the other YouTubers. I noticed another guy said, too, in fact, mentioned this, but they're away from YouTube. They said they're coming to this other platform that said it in their video last time. Junkyard Dicks, and another guy, he's actually moved, he's closed down his YouTube altogether, and he's on this other platform. They can't get it in the UK.
Wow.
Sucks. Platform out of curiosity.
I'm not sure, but he mentioned it on Junkyard Dicks, not the last video, but the video before that. He mentioned he was going on to this one, he said it was in his descriptions, but I couldn't get to it, so when I got it, they said that, yeah, it's going to be slightly different. So has to do some other stuff. So it's hard.
Yeah, no, I want to be able to have a choice of paid and free. Also, Timothy, I saw you had a question at the end of the last show. I didn't mean to end it on you. Greetings. And so here's the soft tonneau cover. We've got 1X soft tonneau cover for $750, self-installed. So they'll mail it to you or put it in the car, but they won't put it in for you. I'm sure if you pay them, they'll do it for $350 an hour. Protect your cargo, increase your range. Cybertruck soft tonneau cover secures the contents of your truck bed beneath a weather-resistant cover. That part of weather-resistant is not different than the stock cover on the normal ones. It offers enhanced aerodynamics when deployed, increasing your range by up to 12 miles. Includes one soft tonneau cover and mounting hardware. The soft tonneau cover orders will begin shipping in June, and the soft tonneau cover is only compatible with the long range because the others already have a tonneau cover. Range may vary based on driving conditions. I wonder if there's a Cybertruck standard range that comes out, if they'll have to adjust this verbiage, or if it will not even have whatever this thing clips to, just to further to dig it in there. I don't know.
I really think these other companies will come in and they'll start putting stuff in.
Yeah, somebody will make one.
A lot of customers, custom people come in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Really good for this one.
So here are the wheels that I
I was
like.
going to say, this might sound like an all-color comment, but it's true. Up here in northern Ohio, northern Toledo manufacturing area, things are going great, and I'm not bullshitting you. $20 and a 6-pack of beer, I can get almost anything done on a vehicle.
Oh my.
The shops are hard, and I know where to go to the down and dirty shops. They'll do anything to help you. They're just grateful for any work they can get right now.
That's right.
And good mechanics, they're not. It's almost, you have to know the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And some of the neighborhoods a lot of people won't go into. I wear my kilt and I get along any place.
There
One
you
of my
go.
tricks in life. It really is.
Yeah. So here we see the 18-inch standard wheels. These are my favorite so far of all the Cybertruck wheels. I wasn't a fan of the core wheels look, but I liked what they did. And then here are the Cyber wheels. I like them that they match the Cyber demo unveil vehicle, but they're not my style. And they're expensive. Oh, but then there's the core wheel. If we would change this up to a dual motor, then we can get a third choice of wheel. Oh no, it's gone. Oh no, there it is. So you can get the core wheel. Where's
I
my
don't think anybody really cares about the water aspect. I mean, that was an easy one to get rid of. It never worked in the first place.
the what?
The water,
Oh, the Wade mode.
call it.
The Wade mode.
Yeah, the wade mode. I mean, forget that.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, full self driving. You can get a universal home charger for $550. That's a really good price. The other options are still going for way more than that. The mobile charger is unique. This is actually the 3rd gen mobile charger, and let's see if Learn More will show us what we need. So you can see the power share icon on this one, and that's not the one I was clicking to learn more. Oh, there it is. Learn more. They put it on the outside. Sometimes it's on the inside, sometimes it's on the outside. And so the mobile charger is unique here. Notice it looks like a mini home charger now, and so far that part looks the same, right? But it's got the power share icon on it, and so you can get a power share bundle. So for $300 you can get the mobile charger, or you can get it with this adapter. So let's learn more here. So 2500 includes the gateway, and so you get one universal wall connector and one power share gateway for your house. So your electrician will wire this in.
Do they charge a credit card, a PayPal? I mean,
Yeah, they charge your credit card, or I think you can still do Bitcoin on your first order, and so you put your down payment down.
Doge wallet work on that? Because I've only got a Doge.
I'm not sure. I'd have to try their crypto.
Is this come with the other adapter for the CCS ones?
No. Well, for you, yes, but not for us. Uh, um, because we've all switched to this plug for the North America. But for you, since you're using CCS2, if they ever offer it there, it will just plug straight in with the CCS2. So 11.5 kilowatts, so 40 amps, 60 amps, was it? 46 amps, I believe. 20 feet instead of.
Tensions and almost no money. Her Nissan Aria is not a Tesla standard,
Right.
but I bought her an adapter
Yes,
in hopes that it would help her.
it will.
Do you think that was a wise thing?
Smart, very smart. Make sure that she puts a little piece of plastic in the slot, and then after that she's good to go. I don't know what the plastic's for, but they were very clear about making sure you put that in there. And
I'll remember that.
yeah, it's a little like triangular piece that just goes in the middle of the sections of the ACS, and it's just something to do with they're the only ones who have this. It's only on the Aria. I don't know why, but it's there.
Could I make one other broad comment? And
Yeah.
it's a lot for you recorded people who watch them later.
Yeah.
So we know I travel throughout the Great Lakes region. I mean, Chattanooga up to Minnesota. Doesn't matter. I was literally shocked between the last time I went to Northern Michigan, and it was like a rarity if you caught a Tesla or a Charger in Myers, which is our big local
Grocery store.
Great Lakes area grocery store.
Yeah.
And they were one of the first to adopt it. But this time coming back from Chattanooga, I don't know if I enabled something, but there were chargers of all kinds everywhere. Because I put it like Chattanooga takes me to Dayton, Ohio. And it's showing me every kind of supercharger. It must have been one because I download apps like their Carter's Pills.
Yeah.
and they're everywhere. And it was just 2-3 years ago, it was a rarity, and now they're everywhere.
Yeah, the prefab stations really helped them get these things online, and the standardized paperwork has made a difference as well. So here on the screen, we can see the mobile power share adapter, and this is the kit. What this does is you've got your 240 and you've got your 120, and then you've got your outlet. So that one on the end on the right is two 120 outlets. So each end you can plug in a 120 device. And what it does is you can see it switches the place of the inlets. And so that's how they stay compliant with the electrical code, and how that you can get power out of a vehicle that doesn't have any outlets in the bed. It's a 20 amps. The thing I want to check now that we see this though is I want to go back and see if it mentioned power in the truck at all on the standard range. I'm about to go back to the sales page. All right, so this one up top, you need a certified electrician. The one on the bottom, you can do it yourself, just because it doesn't power a whole house. You get a glass sunshade, under-seat storage bin. This is kind of new that they started adding all these accessories to the page. You get it from June to July, and with the changes I either selected or didn't unselect, came to 72,235. After the tax credit, 64,735. That includes the universal home charger, soft tonneau, and non-refundable odor fee. So due today, you give them $3,500. And I guess right now it's still just the card. I don't see an option for um, crypto down there. They've got financing if you wanted to do that. Maybe crypto's not allowed in my area. The Faye?
But
Bug spray?
yeah, by me.
A bug bit you in the neck? I'm sorry. Bug thought you were sweet. The bug thought you were sweet. Well, don't complain if you don't want me to pick you up. Don't breathe the milk. Just drink it. She's trying to stay asleep. And she's complaining. All right, so let's go back to the sales page before we go on to the next story, because I am curious about that internal outlet that we are not seeing discussed at all. I think it might be at the bottom on the yeah, there we go. We're at the bottom, the specs. Baby.
Stop, Tiger. And get
Give me a second.
go with it.
Oh, I blinked out? Oh, Highlander blinked out. Okay, let me add him back. We don't need to spray the garage, baby. Is it making noise? The garage is making noise or what? Why are you trying to spray that?
For bye.
It's not a bug spray. It's the oil for the garage door. Put it down, please. It's not a bug spray.
I went to check out YouTube, and it throws me out every time.
Huh. Maybe I don't even know what to say because it shouldn't. But maybe your phone has decided that one of the two is using up too much memory or something. I don't know. All right, so all-wheel drive. We're looking for the section for power outlets, charging, warranty, adults.
All I will say as a preface is we enjoy all electric vehicles.
Yes.
We like Tesla, and you're going to bring up the power outlets, and we're going to let you have it.
I'm not seeing it anymore, but I could have sworn it said that it had the two interior power outlets, and that was it on the long range. But I'm not seeing them.
The one I showed two 120 outlets in the bed. Really? I'm a tradesman.
Yeah, well, two 120 and a 240 in the bed for the non long range for the dual motor.
See the 240 for the new cheap version.
Oh, good, yeah, because the cheap one has what I showed you guys there, where you put the plug into the outlet or inlet, and it becomes an outlet. And it gives you 2 outlets, but only 120s. I guess we look for the picture of the guy plugging in, and then they should have a learn more or something near it. Ready when you are. For the world, have fun. Load it up, bring it all. There we go. Power on tap. And is there a learn more on this one? 2 120s in the cabin, 2 in the outlets, the bed plus 1 240 for even more power. Together they have a more, and then there's a 6 5. So I need to look for a 5. And I bet you that's where it says it. But I don't see a any learn more links. All right, so we're gonna go to the bottom and look for the 5. 5. Not available with long range. All right, so I guess yeah, you don't get any outlets with the long range unless you buy them.
Maybe that's, and I'm just throwing it out here, and I thank you for bearing with it, but
Yeah.
they decided it's not for tradesmen. It's like just a lot of the huge Dodge Ram, GMC, Ford, whatever.
Yeah.
These guys just, it cracks me up. They're driving them to the office space. With those of us who are tradesmen, we actually need this stuff.
Yes.
And so maybe they decided, well, it's more for that office space kind of guy, and
That could be the
they're
case.
not going to capture, and they're not going to capture the tradespeople. I'll tell you that F-150 GM got that puppy locked up.
Well, they do offer the dual motor for that as well. So we'll see. I bet you they have a fleet model coming out at some point as they figure out what they want to do with this.
Well, like Larry Goldberg would say, let's wait and see.
We have to. All right, so let's switch from one premium vehicle to another. Let's go to Lucid. And Lucid has decided they're going to acquire Nikola's factory, some assets, and some of the workers. Take that. Rolling it downhill. So let's see.
I'd still like to see them survive as a premium brand.
Lucid? Yeah, absolutely. Nikola, not so
I got
much.
friends in Phoenix. I really want to see them survive, and I want to be able to go to the factory next year.
There you go. So they announced they are makers. Don't sell me. Tell me what you did. They reached an agreement to acquire select facilities and assets in Arizona previously belonging to Nikola Corporation, subject to approval by the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware. The transaction does not include the acquisition of Nikola's business, customer base, or technology related to Nikola's hydrogen fuel cell electric trucks. I mean, you're not in the fuel cell truck business. Fuel cells are a bad idea.
I thought that was great when they posted that.
Yeah. As of today, the currently fuel cells don't work, and if you're already on a knife edge of living or dying as a company, it makes no sense to take on something that is guaranteed to fail in today's market.
They got some great engineers that are within a few miles away, some great workers
Yes,
who already know the deal. It's not like you're hiring Willie the Wino off the street.
exactly.
They got good production people and a lot of machinery, the test machinery. People don't understand. It takes time to set this stuff up.
Yes.
It's got to be calibrated.
Mhm.
I mean, they got a really good deal, just like Tesla did when they bought Numi.
Right, exactly like that. And you might wonder, well, why didn't they want the customer base? Well, the customer base was either buying the hydrogen truck or they bought the electric truck. But the electric truck, you don't want that because it wasn't really Nikola's. It was a European truck that they relabeled for the most part, and they can do that on their own. They can go to that same company and say, hey, we want some of your trucks. We're going to relabel them. And I don't even think that they're in it for semi trucks right now. This will allow them to go back to that if they choose to. But what they're doing now is the same thing that Tesla and Rivian did. They starting expensive, they're bringing it down to the mid range, and they're going to bring it down to the low end.
100%.
Yeah, I say low end because cars are expensive these days. Huh? What did you say after 100%? I'm sorry, I overtalked you.
No, I want to see them succeed. I
Thank
think they can hold that premium niche market even in a smaller vehicle. I think that's their core competency is you're buying the best high quality, high end electric vehicle.
Yeah.
Do this range. And why not?
Exactly.
You want to see everybody succeed, but there's some reason why people fail.
Yeah.
That's been the way that the maps. So talk about stuff.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Sorry. I was going to say that there's a lot of things that go bad because it was managed right, put out right, properly. Yes, it's good potential to be good, but it's let down by the other things. It's a shame to see those things go by the wayside. So, and it could be good. It's still to make a finished product. It's good to get it out there. I mean, not to rush it to market and then fail.
Yeah. And not to lie to the market, lie to your customers. Like that's mostly what started Nikola down their path of failure.
Yeah.
Aside from not having it, like instead of saying, "Hey, we're not ready yet. We'll talk to you guys in another couple months," they just lied, and then they had to keep lying and lying. So their
big thought is, and I've seen this, better to reach 95% of the goals and put the product out.
Yeah.
Than take forever getting the perfect product.
That too. Yeah.
You need to make money. And if it's 95% perfect, we have a saying here in Detroit in the auto industry, you got to push that metal.
That's right.
Like butts in the seat.
Yeah.
You got to push that metal.
Yeah. But as long as you
make it the best quality you can.
Yeah, they say that Fisker car that passed me the other day. I looked at it. I thought it's a nice looking car.
Mhm.
It's only the problems with the software and stuff. It's not a hard problem.
Right.
You know,
or not much of the hardware.
fix it.
Yeah.
You know, if they can get a hold of that, fix it, put that right to those cars that people have got. Recently, lost it.
To Kacey and Robert, where was Fisker's production plan at?
I think Magna made it for them.
Oh God, another one of my former employers. Heaven help it.
Yeah.
Contract employee for like 40 years. That's why I know so much, because I bounce around.
Yeah.
Whoever pays the most, it's usually the crappiest factory automation job, and I'm the guy they call. That's why I bounce around in the automotive and manufacturing industry. It just is. That's
Yeah.
how I survive.
Nothing wrong with that. It works. As part of the agreement, Lucid will take over Nikola's former Coolidge manufacturing facility, 680 East Hauser Road in Coolidge, Arizona, as well as the Phoenix facility for 441 East Broadway Road in Phoenix, previously used as Nikola's headquarters. And that's nice to get a new headquarters out of it. Headquarters and Product Development Center. These buildings collectively add more than 184 square feet to Lucid's Arizona footprint. And most of this space is comprised of state-of-the-art manufacturing and warehousing buildings, which executes against Lucid's prior expansion in Arizona. These facilities also include development equipment and extensive battery and environmental testing chambers, and a full chassis dyno, machining equipment, and more. The chassis dyno, I don't know if you can put regular cars on a semi-truck dyno, but sure. That or
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
I've worked on them because they're almost all DC motors.
Yeah.
That's why I got called into one place to replace the crutches. But
There's a special dyno here in the UK.
one thing I
Yeah.
question when I asked where.
Yeah.
I got a friend and I asked his permission. Can I call you a friend? Absolutely. Can I call you a good friend? He said, Scott, absolutely. No worries.
Yeah.
And I said, Pete, it's all good. Pete bought a bunch of their it's Pete Gruber out of Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah.
If you don't know him, you should.
Yeah.
He bought a bunch of their stuff on the cheap.
From Nikola?
You know, Pete, he's the greatest guy in the world. He's like me. That's why we get along.
Yeah.
He's wealthy and he doesn't like being wealthy. He just wants this thing in his shop.
Yes. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
He's the greatest guy I could ever meet. That's why we get along. We're just like shop rats.
There you go. So yeah, you might as well get their fire sale. The one thing is surprising is that they had all that test equipment. They could see where their batteries were going bad, and they pushed them out anyway. And then that did not help their financial situation because they had to recall those batteries that they put out with the problems and then fix them. Most of them, it seems that they bought them back because they're still sitting in the desert, marked fixed with no battery, and well, now they're bankrupt. So, as it takes over facilities, Lucid plans to offer more than 300 former Nikola employees jobs in Arizona. Uh, Basically says the same thing there. These offers will encompass various technical salaried and hourly positions, including manufacturing, engineering, software assembly, vehicle testing, and warehouse support, as Lucid welcomes employees with strong backgrounds in EV technology and further supports the local community. The interim CEO commented on the announcements and hinted that the new facilities and workforce would help Lucid towards bringing its next vehicle platform to production. So this is interesting right here because the previous CEO of Lucid is still there. He steps down and sideways. He's now like an engineering lead or something. And this new guy is here. I remember when they were searching for him. That's kind of cool. And as we continue our production ramp of Lucid Gravity and prepare for and that's important right there because the Gravity is going to be a push, a launch, just like when they went from Roadster to S and X. And then they're going to have another one from Gravity to whatever their high volume vehicle is. But right now they're on their medium volume vehicle. Warehousing, testing, development facilities, supporting the local Arizona community. We're delighted to extend employment to more than 300 former employers who bring valuable industry experience, and together with our outstanding teams, we'll continue powering Lucid's industry-leading innovation. And remember, Lucid used to be, I think they still are, but they were a supplier for Formula E, and so they could do the same thing Tesla was doing in their early stages and still building their medium volume vehicle and supplying others in the industry with parts and technology.
Oh yeah, they're looking at licensing. That's a big thing for them. Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
On topic?
Yeah.
I was never on Twitter. I was always on Facebook. Well, I was on MySpace and then Facebook. I'm that old.
Yeah. I remember
But I joined X Twitters because I wanted to follow this guy out of Detroit, Metro Detroit, called Corey Stubbins.
Yeah.
He was Sandy Monroe's right-hand man.
Oh, I remember Corey, yes. What happened with him?
That Corey.
Yeah.
And he had announced, he said, I'm putting my announcement out on X.
Okay.
That's when I joined.
All right.
And we haven't heard a peep out of him, but I think he's probably been having what they hoped for, and I'm sure they paid him a shitload of money. I would have.
Yeah. Where did he go to after he left?
I hope that his influence is definitely having a long-term positive impact. The way they were manufacturing their cars, he can show them, and I'm sure him and a good team are saying this are the ways we could still produce the highest quality EV, but at a more manufacturable and better price for the consumer. And that's my hope.
Yeah, that was a good experience to have because he knew all about lean design. So he went over to Lucid. That's cool to see. So then here's the last scheduled story I've got for the day, and I might look and see if there's any that are waiting to get into the notebook before we call it a day. Thanks to Google making us have a late start today. Giga Berlin sets a record for free EV charging park. So what this is they have the world's largest free charging park. What does that mean? 546 charging stations at 11 kilowatts. 11 each. How many kilowatts is that total? 546 times 11. I think it's basically move it over and add one. No, so 6,006 megawatts. So 6,006 kilowatts. So 6.006 megawatts. That's impressive. And they've got
That's a big number.
Yeah. They've got a solar array that will help them offset this, and also all the naysayers talking about, oh, you're just moving the pollution somewhere else, blah blah blah. Well, we're just moving it 3 feet to the sky. Well, I guess 9 feet to the sky for the raised solar panels, or if they ground mount, whichever the case may be. Tesla spokesperson noted that there's also a public supercharger station which is subject to regular rates. 19 V4, V3 Plus superchargers open to all EV brands at 250 kilowatts, cost non-Tesla drivers 53 cents per kilowatt hour. So probably 43 cents per kilowatt hour for a Tesla owner, unless they sign up for the monthly deal, and then they pay the Tesla rates. That's a lot of cars and a lot of kilowatts. So congratulations to Tesla Giga Berlin and their parking lot. All right, so let's go through real quick my little notebook and see if any of it's called out. All right, so we looked at the Nissan Leaf already, right? Last week before? I think we did. Yeah, because we spent all the time on the Aria, and then we looked at the Leaf.
I still can't tell the difference on the Tesla. I just call them the black and whites.
Yeah.
Between the 3 and 4, and I think I had posted a picture of the one I took in southern Michigan.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The stations. Yeah.
I'm an automation electrician. I don't know if it's AC or DC. I just knew it's black and white, so it means it's the modern one.
Right, and then red and white.
And whether it was you or someone else said, well, it's not the most modern one. It's not a 4, it's a 3.
3 plus, yeah.
Could you just take a minute and explain that, please?
Yeah, so the V3 Plus is a V4 front end on a V3 back end. So it's got the same back end as the red and whites, the newest red and whites, and it adds the all the features you get from that handle interface of the immersed cooling, and it was easier to see. It can do the it's easier to switch between the CCS and NACS, although that feature is going away according to the head of supercharging. And it also has the ability to host a screen for on-site like payment collection and whatever local requirements are for if you gotta show a meter and the cost per unit of fuel. But it's also ready for the V4 backend, which will give you the megawatt charger, which will give you 500 kilowatts um, at the post, as well as if you were to, instead of putting the car post, you could put a semi post on it and get 1.2 megawatts from it that way.
It just showed Roberts requesting to speak.
Oh, maybe it bumped him out too. Yeah, let him in.
Yeah.
And so with the 1.2 megawatts, we saw Penske complaining last week about 600 kilowatt chargers. And so what I was thinking was, well, 1.2 divided by 600 is 2 600s. So perhaps they're not going to do 1.2 megawatts per truck unless it's like the old style, the old version 1 and 2 style, where it was two posts sharing a station. And so then you would have the truck pulled in and it'll pull 1.2 just by itself, or you have 600 for 2 trucks. Because the numbers didn't add up if you use what Pepsi has right now is like 700 or 750 kilowatts for their mega chargers, which was interesting to me.
Before you let us go, and
Yeah.
I think there's a poignant question, and I think I'm going to take the opposite stand. The latest news on the people who hate on Tesla and they're attacking chargers, I forget which state it was in, but they said one of the Tesla chargers was blown up.
Yes, it was back up and running within the week.
I think it blew up by itself.
That's certainly a possibility. There's
I really do.
Yeah. It's interesting because it would be the first one of any of these to do that. And by these, I don't mean just the superchargers. I mean like the whole class of the competition. Because so far we've seen some of the competition burn down, and then we've seen people burn down the Tesla ones. But this will be the first one we've seen explode. And I'm not saying it's impossible.
It's strictly the electrical side.
Yeah.
And the minute, okay, I understand the hate and all that,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at, no, I can see if enough of the SCRs, and this is what I do for a living, folks. I work on CNC, SCRs, I know, and I'm like, one of the boards just went like a dog, threw up on its hind legs and gave up. I think it's just one man's opinion, but I would not be surprised if an honest investigation said, oops, there were faulty electronic components involved.
I can see that happening. We saw on some of the cars that are burned down, like where there was one in Europe where it was a certified used car, and for some reason, a technician had touched the main junction block, and he didn't tighten it down, torque it down to spec, and so then on like the third supercharge after the repair, the car burnt down. Um, the only weird part about this is that it exploded rather than catching fire or tripping into fuses or anything. I'm not saying it's not possible, because it certainly is possible. It's just
I can go back to my Dodge minivan in
Yeah.
last winter when I changed the alternator with AutoZone. I'm desperate. It's that alternator battery. I didn't care. Changeable.
Yeah.
And the guy who put it in, he's a young kid. He didn't know what he's doing. He really didn't.
Yeah.
He had a loose battery connection, and I was having so many faults. And I thought, this puppy could pop.
Yeah.
I saw it once before. It could pop.
It does, yeah.
And I go back to my ground belief. Something just was. It doesn't take a lot, people, when you're dealing with 400 amps. People don't realize when you say 400, 600 amps.
400 amps at 400 volts.
Blow you across the room.
Yes.
I've had it done to me, and I lived to survive. Thank God. But
Yeah, thank goodness.
it's
Yeah.
nothing to play with.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're looking at 400 volts and 400 amps, and it's power, it's energy, it's all that in one. It's a lot. Go ahead, Robert, and then we'll talk about what BYD just did.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been electrocuted a few times, and one time was because my mum didn't shut the power off; she shut it on, and it shot me across, and that was a 50 amp.
Yeah,
That was a hell of an experience. It threw me right away. We're talking like 12 or 15 feet across the driveway. And to be here because she flicked the other switch the other way. Yeah, that nearly did me in. But yeah, there was that, and I was trying to send you the other picture. I didn't even leave Twitter, trying to send you one I sent to Slimy, because I said I couldn't send it to you for some reason.
Yeah.
So I sent it to the DMs. I tried to send it to you.
Yeah.
Because that other idea, they had the table in the back, and the other, the other stuff that you were saying about that you didn't get on the one you were talking about with the swivel chair and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that in the car park at the American Diner.
Oh, nice.
Down the car park, and it was there. I didn't want to snoop too much in people's cars. I just looked through the window, and I could see, it's got swivel chairs and a table that folds out, and so it was a proper camper like it should be.
Nice.
But that comes eventually to you in the US. I mean, give it time.
Yeah, thanks.
So that's what you said about it before, that you were thinking about. I didn't take a picture inside. I just took it from the outside. I was doing a live stream, and I just sent the picture to Slimy on the way back home.
Yeah.
But there's that. You talk about the fires. These things can happen, and there's a lot of sabotage as well. And there's this thing. There's a little thing they can make up, and you just put it underneath, and away it goes. But it's. I won't talk about it because otherwise people will know where to look for it and find it. But if you put it on there, it will create an electrical fire. And it's a nasty piece of kit, but you can make it with a few bits and stops, and it will cause the batteries to explode and electrics to go fire. And they call it a genie, and it does exactly that. You double genie lamp, and it sparks up.
Let the magic smoke out. Yeah. So over here we can see the BYD's mega charger. 1 kilowatt, 1,000 kilowatts, so 1 megawatt. EV fast chargers are ready and could hit China as early as next week, meaning last week actually. Less than 10 days after BYD unveiled the potentially game-changing EV charging technology, Chinese auto conglomerate doubled down on its implementation of plans and has shared the first megawatt chargers. Examples will be available to drivers as early as next week. So I know that we discussed that because we were talking about C rates, and so this charger that we saw that week is all ready to deploy, is what they're telling us. That's incredible. And then that's the other part of it right there, is that the V4 native rather than the V3 Plus with the 4 front end, that is 1,000 volts, 1,000 amps capable on the car side. They're only giving us 500 kilowatts, so 1,000 volts at whatever it takes to get to the 500 kilowatts on the car side. But the truck can do full megawatt, 1.2 megawatts. So the fact that they're saying 1.2 and it's saying 600 by 600, I'm thinking it's something like this. It's going to be two of them on one plug. It's gonna be interesting. As promised,
That 5-minute charger they're talking about. Did you look into that when I sent you?
I
The 5-minute
think it's
charger.
this one right here. Yeah. In fact, that might be why it's here in the list to add to the notebook, but it didn't make it to the notebook yet because I didn't read it. So this will do that on the cars. They're charging at the 4C, 5C we talked about. That will be like Robert said, 10 minutes and you're done, fully ready to go. And so that was in the notebook, ready to go with the notebook. Then we had, I know there's more, but I don't want to spend too much time surfing this with you guys, watching me surf. This one was kind of important to me. I don't know if we talked about it on the show last week or if this was newer than that. We talked about it on the Tesla Life show, but the range extender is gone from the website. You can it's gone from the website as something that you can add to your Cybertruck. You saw when we were clicking through it, they didn't offer it. They don't offer it on long range through the Cyber Beast. It still says it's not capable to be added to the long range, I guess because of the payload. And there's speculation as to why they removed it as something for you to buy, but we don't really know what's going on with that. We'll just wait and see. But just wanted to let you guys know about that. And that's make it to the notebook. Let's see. That one I need to read before talking about. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll go through this list and everything that I'll add to the notebook. We'll just put it in somewhere where it fits on next week's show. So I want to thank Slimy for coming through. I want to thank Highlander for co-hosting and Robert for showing up as usual. And I want to thank all of our channel members, especially Anders. What was it? 38 months. Yeah, 38 months. And I want to thank everybody else who's doing
You're watching your room go as it should.
Thank you.
It's gonna grow.
Yeah. And so next week I'm going to try to schedule the space. Hopefully I remember to do it sometime when I schedule the main one, and see if that makes it easier for X to share it about. If not, then I guess that we can all just share it out when we start the room. We'll see how it goes. And so I want to thank everybody else for your time. Everybody who we didn't already mention and isn't already a channel member, thank you guys too, because without people to watch this, then it doesn't go anywhere. And it's been a pleasure, and we will see you. Sorry, I will catch you on the flip side. That's my tag phrase because my camera here.
Don't forget to give nods out to the co-hosts and the moderators and producers.
Yes. Give everybody a follow and a thumbs up and a like if you like what they have to say. And then the reason I say catch you on the flip side is this is the latest generation of the first camera I used on the channel, and it has a gimbal, and there was a mode to just make it flip around, and so I would say catch you on the flip side because it was kind of fun. And
Awesome.
yeah. And so with that, I will catch you on the flip side.
This is RS3. Goodbye, folks.
Bye. Thank you very much.